It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha is here. Butler's in the other room. Happy New Year, everybody, and we are back.
Yeah.
We had basically a 1 week ACT vacation.
Yeah,
right?
A little more than 1 week, I guess, if you count the Thursday and Friday for Christmas.
I don't really count those because those are the days.
Yeah.
Like a week and a half.
Yeah, like a week and a half.
Although I'm taking 2 weeks off, and then I show up on New Year's Day to my smoothie place to get my smoothie, and they're closed, and I'm like, I almost I stopped myself, didn't do it.
2021.
I had no
Out of
idea
practice.
how much the smoothie meant
Passionate.
to you. He doesn't get that passionate about me.
But then I'm mad that I'm like, oh, God, how could they be closed? Like, I'm mad that someone takes time off.
Right,
And meanwhile,
right.
I've been off for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm mad. I'm like, oh, where am I going to get my smoothie?
Your wife was making you smoothies, and then you said that she was making you mummy bone smoothies.
Yeah.
That were drinking.
They're wet and dusty.
Yeah, which is, I don't even know how that works.
Wet and dusty.
Yeah, Wet and Dusty is our country tag team wrestling group.
They didn't have any of the sugar squirts.
That sounds disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Secret recipe.
I believe that's what you call a white number
Yeah.
2.
Anyway,
I'm all confused. Sorry, we haven't done this in a minute. I forget where the buttons is.
I know that a lot of people are going to be interested in my gambling story I'm going to tell, but
Go
I'm
pause
going to tell
for
it
1
anyway.
second. Pig Tease Christine is in our Twitch chat room. You can watch us every single day of 2021, Monday through Friday at twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. And she is currently having her baby right now.
Oh,
right.
and she's on Twitch?
What are you naming it? Name it Sugar Squirts.
That's loyalty right there.
that is loyalty.
You're just scrolling up? Are you even at the...
Yeah. Are you scrolling, or is the doctor doing it for you while you breathe?
Well, congratulations.
Do we get to name the baby?
Yeah, we do. Sugar Squirts. I remember. Is her hubby going to look at it?
I hope they've been listening to me.
And I'm not talking about the baby, because looking at a baby's fine, but it's the other thing.
No, never look. There's nothing...
I've looked.
No,
And I agree with you.
Yeah. See? Daniel...
If I did have a baby, I would not want
Don't
my husband.
look.
No.
You can't. You're too tall. There's no way you'd be able to do that.
there's nothing good that comes from it, and all this BS about
God, I wanna see
it was
that.
magical,
Beautiful.
it was beautiful
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
life, and
No.
no, it's not.
Quit
It's
lying
not-
to yourself.
Yeah,
It's not
true.
beautiful.
It's bloody and gross.
Well,
The only reason the
It was a
doctor said
bloodbath.
that is because you live in a mansion based on the fact that women crap these things out.
I'm not joking. There was blood everywhere. It was a
wall to
massacre.
wall.
It was
Wall to
like,
wall.
I was terrified that something was wrong.
The only thing missing was
Don't look.
It was never. I can't even say what I was going to say.
So
It's gonna
every
be horrible.
every once in a while, have you guys ever had or received something or some sort of good luck that you didn't deserve, and it was just random?
I've never received good luck.
like random chance that this happened and it benefited you, and I can only and it's probably I've probably had this happen a million times in gambling. I can't remember a situation where it was this random and unlike what was in the past, and I'll explain. And I equated to that. Remember that story?
I was afraid you were going to explain this. and when you looked at me, and you absolutely confirmed it too. He looked me in the eyes, and he's
I
like,
know you're afraid.
And I will explain this.
I
And
will
I'm
tell
like,
you now.
Damn it!
Remember the story when I
Put
was
his explaining visor on.
when I was in college and I showed up to a test and I knew I was gonna not pass the class, and I needed.
Why'd you show up?
Well, this is the one of the random acts of good luck that I experienced in my life. I showed up to this test. I thought the only way I was going to be able to pass this math class in college was by getting an A on the final exam, right?
Okay.
And I did try to study because I was like, man, I think I'd failed it like the last semester, so it was like I was trying, and I finally had like at least
Professor's wife fell off a cruise ship.
no, well,
Right? And then you got to cancel it because he's
Right.
got to do all.
I showed up, and there was some other stoner. He showed up too, and I'm looking at
remember
him.
this story, yeah.
I'm looking at him. We're looking at each other. We're like, why do we even come? It's 7 a.m.
Why you
We have no
come here,
chance.
man?
Yeah. Like I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, this is a waste of my time.
You're that guy from Shane's World.
I'm like, I studied all night. I don't even remember what I looked at because I was so tired. Anyway, so I sit there, and then all of a sudden, the no teacher, and like time's going by, and like we were supposed to take the test at 7:30, and it's like 7:35, 7:45, and so we're like everybody's talking, and it's like a huge auditorium, and then all of a sudden the teacher comes stomping in, and it's like he's like, the janitor didn't open my office this morning. He didn't show up. All the exams are in my office. I can't legally give you enough time that I'm supposed to. I guess by the college rules to take the exam. So
what school was this?
UCF.
Yes.
And then he's
there
like,
we go.
There it is.
so he's like, and I can't reschedule the exam dates because they have policy on that.
Right.
Some
Very
people
strict
So he's
schedules.
like, I have to give everybody an A, and everybody's like, yeah. Me and the stoner are hugging. We're like, the only way I passed the class was by getting an A in the final, and I'm sure some people.
Here you are, Van. D-.
Imagine the people who didn't show up, and they would have got an A, because the people who didn't show up, they got an F.
Yeah,
like they
or
didn't-
DNF, or
A zero, yeah.
Did not finish, or
Like
whatever.
the person that thought like me. Anyway, so
Or what was it? An incomplete.
Yeah. So a
I remember
situation.
my mom saying an incomplete is worse than a failure, and I remember as a kid just thinking, well, failure meant I tried.
Right.
I was like, I think your logic's flawed.
Incomplete is worse than the failure. Yeah. Although,
No, my mom would say that. And I'd go, well, no, if I got failure, at least it means I was giving it the best I could. I just failed. The incomplete means I didn't even show up.
yeah. Way worse.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Ooh,
sorry.
mwah, chef's kiss. That was delicious.
Like that was a loud inward
My
burp.
God. You know what's weird is that was so low in your body, you channeled up Don Pablo's fajitas. They haven't had a Don Pablo's around here in 10 years, man.
So a lucky situation happened last night in a similar vein to this, right? So
Baby, wake up. She's dead.
I had too much time on my hands over the break, so I started listening to a lot of like NFL gambling stuff and like consuming my
Okay,
my
studying
hobby.
up.
Yeah. Where I'm like,
that is his hobby.
Got extra time. I'm going to listen to all these extra, which is always bad because then
What
I
do you
get
do while you're listening? Are you gardening?
I
sitting
doing the
stoically?
dishes.
Okay.
Like in the beach, I listen to some just sitting there, but mainly
Like
I try to
chores.
do stuff. Yeah,
Right.
chores. So I listened to too much, and then I convinced myself that I knew what was going to happen in this Washington Eagles game, and I started looking at like following injury reports and stuff, and I started seeing Eagles sitting out key like players and stuff.
Did it all light up in front of you?
Yeah. It was like a beautiful mind. I started bingo bongo, the yarns going all the way. And then, so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, I'm looking and they're like, well, Alex Smith is probable, and then he moved to questionable, and then I'm like, man, they're gonna start this guy, and because the old Heineke, they ditched Dwayne Haskins, and anyway, long
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
So
NFL.
I know you guys
You're
don't care
losing
that
it,
much.
man.
Robert's races. Robert's
Sorry.
race. God don't make no junk.
Get to the point.
So the point is, I thought that I knew. I was like, man, and I'm looking at the line. It's slowly creeping up. I'm like, bet heavy. I start betting on Washington bet, and betting way too much. I'm going against all my discipline that I've learned in my
Collateral.
books. And so I have way too much money on Washington -3. It got up to 6, right? Because everybody else
Washington -6?
that is square like me, and the whole public is thinking the same thing. Like, he's going to come back. He's the comeback player of the year. Which, by the way, I was ragging against this guy saying he's garbage
Yeah,
at
you
the
have,
beginning.
yeah.
But I switched. I'm back to public.
You've said some very
This
insensitive
guy.
things about Alex Smith.
This is how bad of a gambler I am. So I'm like, man, this is a guaranteed win. I never get guarantees like that. Now it's 6 points. I got way too much money on Washington
What do you do
-3.
when you just for the audience, like when you're realizing this and you've bet.
Yeah.
And then you have, you're seeing it come together and you're feeling this. Do you even smile? Are you happy?
No.
Do you tell anybody?
No, it's all going on in my
So
mind.
it literally, like, I wouldn't be able
While my
to-
family
so I
eats
wouldn't
their
even-
dinner. This is what
and
I'm
you're
thinking
just
about.
silent, just shoveling
Yeah.
in the mashed taters.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about how brilliant I am.
Because I think that's important.
how I saw the line move. I got in early.
I saw the line.
This is
and I
what-
opened up my eyes. I saw the line.
This is what my training and my
Training?
the hours I
Yeah.
put into this hobby. This is where it all comes down.
Showtime,
I win.
baby. Yeah.
And I've
Training is
learned
listening to podcasts.
yeah, well, and then doing the math in my head, which means
You
just
can't do math.
thinking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that I can do
Numbers
math.
are just going through his mind.
He's just shaking the numbers
Like,
up.
you know, in
It's
movies,
a lottery tumbler.
when they show the guy, the brilliant guy, the
A Beautiful
janitor,
Mind or
and there's just numbers in his head. That's
Yeah.
what but I have no idea what any of them
Yeah.
mean.
Right.
There's just numbers
Okay.
everywhere.
You're like, well, a bunch of weird shaped bats in here.
So
Out here, number 3.
I was convinced
The only one I know, Dale Earnhardt.
that I had a winner and that I was, this is an easy bet. So I start watching the game, and Philadelphia has nothing to play for, which, by the way, is a stupid thing to bet against because these players are millionaires that have the highest position that can be held in their
league, yeah, and whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
in their
profession.
type of profession.
Yeah, yeah. They're to get to the NFL. So everybody is trying 100%.
Ultra rare.
Every player, they don't give a damn about the team they're on. They give a damn about the continuing to get paid and trying to, because it's super competitive, right? There's a guy behind you in college ready to take your job if you don't do something, And any time in a game where you can do anything, get a sack, get an interception, that could extend your career for another 6 months, or that can be the reason you get signed again next year. So all these people, they don't care about the win.
You want to perform.
They want to perform for themselves at least. So you got to think about that. And I constantly forget and think like, oh, the Eagles have nothing to play for. Washington's coming in playing for a playoff spot. Yeah, of course they have something to play for. They're playing for their damn selves, which is the most important thing to play for. They don't give a damn. They don't know what an Eagle is.
Ow!
So anyway, so I'm convinced I'm winning, and then I start watching the game, and it becomes apparent that it's going to be a tough go because this backup quarterback, Jalen Hurt, for the Eagles. Remember, they bench Carson Wentz. He is a runner, and San Francisco's got a good
more
defense.
Mobile,
but all of a sudden, he's running crazy, and he's able to make plays and stuff.
And also, he hasn't played in. I mean,
no, he played last game.
Well, I know, but I mean, like he
hadn't played the whole season.
But I'm saying this goes back to what you were just talking about. This guy's been put in, and he doesn't get.
Anyway, he was playing for his number one position,
playing for his spot.
So he's killing
what he
it.
does best.
I mean, there's still limitations, but it's not going like I thought. Like it's not a total domination. It's bad.
So again,
I'm seeing, and then the Washington
still at dinner, emotionless, just shoveling the taters in the mouth.
Well, now I'm watching, and now I'm emotionless watching on my phone as Crystal watches The Crown, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like,
sound on, sound off.
It's earbuds in, quietly in the corner, and then I'm watching, and then I'm telling myself, "You idiot! This is why people lose. They convince themselves of dumb thing." Anyway, so I'm watching it, and then the Eagles go down all the way. They're about to score a touchdown.
Red zone crazy,
and then they're going to go up, and I need Washington to win by more than 3 to win the damn thing, and I'm like, they're not playing well, and I'm like, they're not stopping this guy. I'm like, you could feel when you're about to lose. I don't know how to explain it. But
now, are you a follow-through guy, or are you a turn-it-off guy?
Right.
Because I think that's where you and I differ. You'll follow through. I'll turn it off. I get so mad.
Because I've thought about this in game. I've punched the refrigerator. I've screamed. I've lost it all. And then Chris is like, "What are you talking?" And then I end up winning. And then she's like, "See, you have to wait to the end because there's and then
so you've learned your lesson.
Yeah, I don't wait
then
to
she
the
screams, "You got a problem! You have to go see help."
I kill myself.
So
the meteor misses Earth. That's that's me all day long.
So I'm like, I'm definitely going to lose. So then it's 4th and 4, and they decide to go for it instead of kick the field goal, right? Which I was like, that's odd, but the Eagles have nothing to play for.
Right.
So, but if they score a touchdown, it's going to be basically bad for me. I just don't see Washington. They were getting pressured like crazy, and they were like, Alex Smith is, both his legs are hurt. Like, this guy almost died. Anyway, all the bad things. I was like, for sure I lost. I bet too much, you idiot. Like, So I'm watching this, and then he doesn't make the 4th and 4. I'm like, yes. So, but still, like Washington doesn't go back and score or whatever. No. They kick the punt, and I'm like, well, I'm going to lose now.
So, we're doing ACT.
Damn it! I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Power
through.
We haven't been doing this here just to show you. I was with you, didn't even catch it. That's why we have a producer, buddy. This is fine.
Thank you, Samantha.
This is why we hire the best of the best.
Sorry. So
when you can't do it anymore because you're too old, you hire a young woman to do it.
So I'm like, this is a for sure loss or whatever. And then all of a sudden, the announcers are like, "What's happening here? They're putting in the third-string quarterback, Sudfeld.
Sudfeld.
And then I'm like, Sudfeld?
So he's not even on the roster.
So then I'm like, what did I miss or whatever? And then they show a picture, they show the camera on Jalen Hurt, like the guy that was doing well, and he's in the big, giant coat, you know.
Yeah.
By the way, that looks like the best. I mean, it's so huge. Anyways, he's in the coat, and he's standing there with a beanie. I'm like, and I'm like, he's standing and just look hurt, because at first I was like, what? And then Sudfeld is out there, and then he stinks horrible. Like, because then I got scared. I was like, oh, Sudfeld's better. He's going to win this. And then all of a sudden they're just killing him.
Especially if you don't know who the guy is. The guy may be mega arm. They put him out there. He's crazy.
Because I've never heard of Sudfeld.
Yeah.
And then Chase Young is just murdering this guy. And then I'm like, oh my God, the Eagles this is the first time I've ever seen a team literally try to lose by putting in the worst possible player. See, this is what they did.
I've never heard of
it. So this happened last night, and people are going crazy over it. And even the announcers were like talking about it, like, why'd they do this? This is bizarre, whatever. Like, they were making comments, and you could tell since they work for the NFL, like they can't say too much.
Now, what do they say? Do they say it as we're just giving somebody else some playing time?
Yeah, well,
how do they spin it?
Well, they spinning it by saying, I guess I forgot the coach of the Eagles. Doug Marrone or whatever. He's like,
right.
He's like, I guess the coach of the Eagles wants to see what they have and their third string quarterback just to see, because this is a meaningless game or whatever. But
sure.
But then they were like, why don't they want to win? Whatever. And it turns out they got a way better draft pick if they lost this game.
Yeah,
so,
again, I hate that.
I do too.
It goes back to draft picks, but literally this guy, Sudfeld saved my bet, because then as soon as that happened, everybody in the Eagles quit and they stopped, and then Alex Smith was able to score, and then I'm like, I felt like college again. Like, if they didn't do this, I would have for sure lost, but by random luck, the Eagles coach is like, I'm tanking this game on purpose, putting in Sudfeld, and he basically lost the game for them. It looked like he tried, but he's Sudfeld. He can't do nothing.
Plenty of people try. There's a lot of stuff I could try and fail at horribly.
And then the rest of their team kind of like put in a half, because they knew.
Well, they knew Sudfeld was in there.
And I've seen teams make questionable decisions. Like I saw the Dolphins and the Jets do it, where all of a sudden they're running bad coverages, like in a last play, like. Basically, hey, we'll run the worst coverage and you'll probably score, and that's what happened, Or we'll go for two instead of.
I can't understand how we would weave that into the fabric of what most American, it kind of goes against everything that we as a country have always been about. No, it's got to be fair, and we got to earn it. We got to win it. Yeah. You can't just tank it to win it. What is that? It's very difficult.
Unethical, for sure.
It's very difficult for me to understand it, and then I fall into the trap that I know we always do when we talk about this, about going, well, it's always been that way, and it'll never change because the NFL's too big and too powerful, and they don't want to change the way that it's set up at the NFL owners. Exclusive club, and they like doing it their way.
You know what? We say that, though, but the NFL has changed. When the people are in an uproar about it, like they changed. Remember that pass interference that didn't get called, and everybody went crazy.
They changed rules because of it.
Yeah, they changed rules. Now they changed it back. By the way, I don't know if you know they had it for 2 years.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. It's not a rule anymore. Well,
then you didn't change anything.
Yeah.
All you did is you did something to pacify the people that were pissed off.
I don't even know if I know what you're referring to.
This was at the Saints, right?
You could challenge a pass interference if you believe that it was egregious enough to be a pass interference. Before, you couldn't do that. After the Saints happened, and there was like a obvious pass interference, and they lost the game, and there's no rule that says you can challenge that, and so they made a rule that's saying if it's bad enough, a coach could challenge it. Right. And by the way, they've done it, they've challenged it, and no one's ever
overturned it.
Yeah, no one's ever overturned it, and then they took it off. So it's probably one of those things. But I think they could do something where, like, the worst couple teams play for picks or something, right? Like, do it where it's not motivation to have the worst record, because that's what's ruining the actual sportsmanship of the game, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like,
Because if your motivation is not to lose and you want to always win, even if you are the worst team, you know that you're going to play in this like maybe final 4 playoffs and the 4 worst teams, and then whoever wins that gets a number 1 pick. There's got to be a different
it
way.
would be
because
it would be
it was
interesting though
weird.
if it was more like an actual draft. You know, like meaning, what if it was just completely random?
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah. Then you get like the Chiefs getting another
yeah, but
best
but
wide
then-
receiver.
Hey, work on it. Make
them's
your
the
team
breaks.
better.
It's not
Yeah.
up to me to make the parity level of the league what
And
it
then
should
figure
be.
it out later in trades or whatever. But
Yeah, but I think the answer is it's insanely complicated, and I don't think there's an easy way to do it.
Why do we as American those sports leagues feel the need to hold the hand of teams that may not be as good? It's always, even the MLS does that, where they weigh in and they throw in money so you can have a bigger group salary.
to
They
make
don't-
it competitive? Because
But I mean, like, they don't do that anywhere else, and it kind of goes against everything that you hear us say. It goes absolutely against it.
I think the owners of the NFL, and I think they would think it's like janky or Bush League if they had like some horrible teams, and like the NBA has this.
That's
sometimes,
life,
right?
though.
Where it's like a team is like just for
Like
whatever.
the Washington Generals come out here. It's
Because
like, oh, great, here they come.
even number 1 draft picks don't mean that much.
No.
It doesn't mean that. I mean, there's tons of number 1 draft picks that didn't.
Well, they
or-
normally go to bad
well, then
teams,
let's get
right?
rid of it because look, now we're having people tank their own games. That sucks. That sucks for every player on that field that tried to win that game, that could have won that game.
Well, it sucks. It really sucks for the New York Giants because
Yeah,
if
they're livid.
Philly,
Yeah, they're mad.
Well, if Philly won that game, the Giants were in the playoffs.
Right.
So, like, there was a bunch of people on Twitter, like when Philly looked like they were winning, like when I was like, oh man, I'm going to lose this bet.
Yeah.
A bunch of people, Giants, were on Twitter like rooting for Philly and like, oh, they're gonna because they were gonna send
they
them
thought
to
it was
the
gonna happen,
playoffs.
yeah.
And then old Sudfeld. Then they all mad. But I think this will cause. It may be the catalyst to cause a change because I've never seen it before. I watch a lot of NFL and I've never seen them
So blatant.
so blatantly.
Yeah.
Like a player's winning and then you take him out and
Right.
you put in a worse player. Like obviously worse. Like this guy couldn't do anything.
I'm trying to
That
think
poor
about it.
guy.
I think you'd have to take. Okay,
I mean, if he started and then said like Jalen Hurt maybe had like a sore or something, they make up BS like that too.
Yeah,
where
they say things all the
like,
time,
They're like
yeah.
this player's he's got a tight hamstring.
Oh, his knee seized up.
Yeah. So then that would be fine. But this guy, Jalen Hurt was winning, and then they benched him for a worse player.
Okay, you could do it like this.
It was bizarre.
Follow me with this. How many teams? How many NFL teams?
How many is there?
I always
There's
forget the number.
32.
Okay, let's just go with 32. I don't know if that's correct, but let's just let you make your cutoff, right? And let's say
Yeah,
32.
Let's just say that you take as far as the playing for picks, like what you were saying.
Yeah,
and you
your
make it
record,
like the bottom 10 teams at some point.
And then it's all lottery or something.
Yeah, and then
Damn it! I'm sorry.
it's fine.
God.
man. It'll take all of 5 seconds.
I know, but still,
Coming in hot
Yeah, I
2021.
like it. I like Spicy Tom.
I'm not even that spicy.
Well, we're just out of
Talking about
practice.
betting.
Yeah. And
We're
then
out
we
of
went from
practice.
BDM show and this.
Right.
We're out of practice. Anyway, I think you're right.
There should be a different.
I think it will change. And Tom and I were talking last night. One of the things that we were like texting back and forth while we were watching football. And when I'm watching football, it is very weird for me to watch it without the fans. And one of the things I noticed is you don't see any normal looking humans except for like referees and head coaches. Everybody else is a stud, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you just see all of these, like, for all intents and purposes, guys that just look like action figures, right? And then you see like Andy Reid and an old man in stripes. That's it. You
Yeah.
don't see any fat guys, no beards. You don't see any normal day-to-day
Right.
humans. None. And no women. Very few women. You don't see. It's weird for me
Yeah.
when I watch it.
I wonder, like, I know that they're making some exceptions and they have like limited crowd in some of the.
Would you go?
Well, I wonder what the experience is like, and even with like Orlando City. You went to an Orlando City match, and there's limited audience, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, because I've been to that stadium when it's completely sold out, and there's a certain vibe there. And then I feel
it's
like
tight when it's sold out.
when it's scattered around, scattered around and limited audience, it feels to me like you're taking away a big chunk of the experience that you went there to experience to begin with.
I
right?
agree, but I also was actually really surprised of how loud
it
that
was,
stadium still got.
It's so small,
Plus, we were close to the supporter section. So.
Yeah.
And it was
it's
engineered to
smaller,
be
yeah.
loud. I mean, you and I helped,
Yeah.
be a part of the. We didn't design it, but I mean, we had input.
When you're sitting in a 70,000 seat, stadium, and it's like there's 5,000 people in there, it must be like. I wonder if is it good? Like, are you like, wow, I got so much room, and there's like, this better?
I personally, yes, I liked it.
Yeah.
You don't have people right in front of you. You don't have people coughing behind you.
Yeah. But then
Because those seats are tightly packed in together.
I don't know. I disagree, Sam. I miss the drunk guy behind me cursing in front of my
Spilling their
daughter.
beer on you.
Spilling a
and-
beer on my daughter's head.
Yeah.
because without the
I gotta try and fight him. He's 6'5". He's smashing my head.
without the extra crowd, because watching a game live is not as good if you're just into watching the sport than it is on TV.
Correct.
Because on TV, there's a lot more information. You get the replays,
You get the overlays.
you get close up. You get just
Replay.
Like, it's just better as far as purely just watching the sport. So when you go to an event, then you have
go for the environment.
So I'm just like, it's got to not be as good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's been
We had
to
quite a few BDMs at the Bucks game yesterday.
Yeah. We need to ask them how good. Like, was it just as good?
And
Because
it-
maybe they're like, who cares?
But the Bucks stadium's never really that packed, so it probably wasn't that much
Because
different.
I'm with you though.
Change. They're winning.
Yeah, and Brady now.
Yeah.
and-
When you're waiting in a half an hour line to the bathroom or for some gray hot dog and
That
soggy
still
nachos,
happens, by the way, at the
Yeah.
stadium, at the
Yeah,
soccer
okay, yeah.
stadium.
Because like the whole event isn't that good.
No.
To begin with.
Let's be honest. It's a fair, and you've got
Yeah.
the meatheads in the center, the millionaire meatheads fighting, and then around it is basically the Central Florida Fair.
I mean, I've been to exciting games before, and one of the most exciting games I ever went to was like before Orlando City was in MLS, and they won that championship in penalty kicks. And I was like, wow, like that was an experience that I won't forget. Like a live sporting event that it was crazy electric. The crowd went insane.
Yeah, it was
and every
great.
goal, that was an experience. But then I've been to Dolphin games before, like 10 years ago, where I sat in it's still scattered crowd back then, and I'm sitting in nosebleed section watching a game that's 200 yards away from me, where I'm barely can tell what's going on, and I'm listening to the echo announcer, I'm just like, this guy, I'm drinking cheap Bud Light, that I was like, this is not that
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Like, this will be way better at home.
I would say best sporting event I've ever been to would be probably an Orlando Predators. Because nothing beat the hard-hitting, smash-mouth indoor action of arena football.
So, because and I've been to Orlando City matches where when it's packed and it's like a crazy environment and then full supporter section, and that's an experience, right?
I mean, being in the supporter section, you're part of the chants, the drums, the smoke. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So I was just saying, when you take that away and the actual just watching a live sporting event, I thought to myself too, there's a lot of empty space that these stadiums have, especially the ones that were not allowed any audience whatsoever. Yeah. So I think to myself, why aren't any of the friends of the people that work there, or even some people that work there, they have passes. You don't see any of them just standing, as probably NFL regulation about they don't want anybody even any random person. Do you think there
you
would
mean
be
just standing in the aisles?
Yeah, just there would be one person just be hey, I'm going to watch
any of that.
Yeah,
you're right.
They probably told them they couldn't do that, but I'm surprised that it's hey, the guy that works at the pretzel stand, he can get in because it's his own. He owns the stand or whatever. He's got the key. So why can't he just stand up in the nosebleed by himself? There's not, and then watch it. But there are probably rules against it. But even then, it probably wouldn't be that good Because without any of
Yeah.
the announcements or all the stuff they add,
I mean,
it's just like, you're like,
Even from like, let me think about it. From design, the whole thing has changed, right? Like I'll put it to like the analogy of like a Disney ride. You know, going on the Haunted Mansion. That's an iconic ride, legendary ride that you need, in my opinion, you need the line and the visuals of the queue walking through it.
Yes.
The complete
It's
experience.
part
And
of
you
the whole
need the
experience, yeah.
full, like the opening presentation. You need the butler. You need to go walk down the thing to get in your car. Then you go through the ride, right?
And they're
So
skipping a lot of that now.
and
yeah.
it's not as good. To go to
Yeah.
Tom's point, like last time we went on it, they skipped through the full experience. They just put you on the ride, like you said. The game, not as good.
So how
It's
much
not
of
as good.
a live sporting event is the crowd with the because they also they have professionals that are paid to entertain the crowd when they're there with the music, like the cues.
Oh, and with that little basketball hoop that's on an accordion.
Oh, not
that
those, not the promo team.
You
Yeah.
squish your arms down, and the basketball hoop goes way high, and then some kid throws a Nerf ball, and then you. When they, so good.
But just
No magic.
broken down to just like imagine if you were just sitting there watching a football game with nothing.
Oh, alone?
With
Like a
alone.
millionaire? Like
Yeah,
a billionaire.
But
Yeah.
without like the music, without
Yeah.
anything. You're just sitting there.
Would
Probably,
you cheer?
How
No,
much?
right?
That would be weird.
How
No.
much less of an experience? Are we talking less than half?
Yeah, I
so
think
then
so.
now we're saying that the crowd and everything involved is more than half of your experience. I'm just trying to get down to the actual
Man,
science.
if you asked me how much of the crowd, oh man, it's a big part of it.
Yeah, so 50%.
It's the same thing of like I went to a concert, right? But it was outside venue and all that. But like I stayed all the way in the back, away from everybody, and it kind of sucked that you didn't get to be like
Amongst
with the
the-
crowd and
yeah.
singing
And
along
there's
to the
energy
songs. Yeah, the
involved in
energy
it.
was just not the same.
That's that makes 100% sense. It's like you're standing amongst a bunch of like-minded people cheering for the same thing. That comes with the experience that is worth more than 50%.
That's a vibe.
Yeah.
That's a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to remind myself that so that when we get back to something normal, because I usually complain about crowds and
Me too.
because
But I
just
still
like
I still want distance from people.
Yeah.
But you know.
yeah, but
Like, give me a few chairs around me or empty, but
yeah, there's exactly. There's an experience that we're missing out on
There
that
is.
is like
It's like a
more than
bond.
50%. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Anyway,
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha's here. Butler just stepped outside to smoke a cigarette because he has started smoking again.
yeah, quit caffeine. Now he's on the
I
nicotine.
told him, I go, what are you doing? He's like, I just need to get a few pounds down in the cigarettes. And so he's outside smoking.
Yeah.
And you know what? I trust a sales guy who smokes cigarettes.
yeah, Newports regulars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But shorties. Wide, like Camel Wides. Remember
yeah.
Camel
Yes, I
Wides?
do.
They're little cigarettes. I was
Yeah,
like, these
yeah.
cigarettes look like my body. And I'd put them in my mouth and I'd smoke them good. Porky's in a Popka.
It's like smoking a combo.
It's a
My
good
wife knows all about smoking a combo.
All right, let's do it.
What a horrible way to start the show now. Oh, come on. Give me some juice. Give me the juice. Daniel said his wife likes to smoke combos.
Smoke combo.
Pantyhose rhymes with combos. Why do women even wear pantyhose to begin with? Is that to hide bruises on their legs that they got from their husband because he lost his job and the dog wasn't around for him to kick? We love Porky! Yeah! Now, Tom Bass.
Who's Porkin'? Brought to you by Porky's Barbecue right there in downtown Apopka. If you got an event or a Porky's Barbecue in Apopka. And again, if you got a little birthday party or, maybe a Super Bowl party coming up,
yeah.
just get the Porky's.
Can't say that.
What
You
do
gotta
you
say the big game.
No, I think that's out.
Superb Owl Party.
Everybody knows.
Super Bowl. You're not going to do nothing.
Shut down.
There's a million. There's too many shows. They cannot stop it. Super Bowl.
Can't
Super
stop,
Bowl.
won't stop.
Super Bowl party. Pay me. I'm the Super Bowl. Like, you're not going to Super Bowl. I can say it a million times. Nothing will happen because that is dead because there's infinite media and it's impossible to even track at this point. It's all out. Can't stop it.
You convinced me.
I forgot what I was even saying.
No, it doesn't matter. Everything you just
Porky's
said.
a podcast.
Get your party cake. So you guys are familiar with Mr. Harry Styles, right?
You know what? I gotta say that I think Tom and I both, it's gonna shock you, Sam. I think Tom and I both like Harry Styles.
Well, he's real hot right now.
He's a cool dude.
And even Miley Cyrus has, and recently in interviews, she's been real thirsty for him.
What'd she say?
Oh, she said she'd she'd like to share a life with him. She's like really into the fact that he wears like tight leggings and
girl
fishnets and
pants.
stuff.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for her, it has come out this weekend that he is now dating Olivia Wilde. Now, you might think, wait a minute, I thought she was with Jason Bateman.
That's exactly.
Well, apparently, they were engaged for years. They have 2 children together.
Yeah.
And early last year, I guess they separated, and they didn't tell anybody.
That's the way to do it,
until
yeah.
This past November of 2020. They finally came out and said it. So I don't know exactly when they broke up. But Harry Styles was at a wedding this past weekend, and he brought Olivia Wilde as his plus one. He actually officiated the wedding. It was his manager, Jeffrey Azoff's wedding.
Oh, wow.
And they were publicly displaying affection.
How old is she?
She's like 36, and he's 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, but Jason Bateman's in his 40s, right?
Yeah.
Late 40s or mid.
I think that's just going to be one of those. Yeah, good for them, and I wish them all the best. But I never see these type of relationships. This smacks
Jason
of
Bateman's
like
actually 51.
This
Okay,
smacks
yeah.
of like a Demi Moore.
Well, he's always
Ashton
been very
Kutcher.
outwardly saying how he's always been attracted to older women.
Yeah.
So he's always kind of dated older women.
And he dresses like an old woman. You know, like when he was
Yeah,
on
with the
Howard
pearls
Stern,
and-
he's wearing pearls and like an old
Turtleneck.
sweater.
Right.
But it looks cool as hell
Yeah,
on him.
but he can pull it off.
He can pull it off.
They're always attracted to older, rich women celebrities that
Wow.
look
That's
like
weird.
you.
Yeah.
Like you are older, but you look like you're 25.
Like, if I were rich-
so are you
Yeah.
attracted to older women? Are you attracted to the grandma from Titanic? Because that's an older
he
woman.
makes an excellent point because you're not attracted to like
Regular
a
old-
toothless, homeless old woman. You don't look at her and go like, "Wow, that bulldog,
Wait.
that saggy bulldog,
Yeah. Yeah, like-
sun-baked ass is what I'm into."
You being attracted to Demi Moore, I don't really put that in the category because she's so good
really,
looking.
you're attracted to 40-year-old women.
That look like 25-year-old women or
Right.
29 or I mean Demi Moore looks older.
So say
but-
30. You're attracted to 30-year-old women. So
Oh, correction, I pulled an EJ and gave you false information.
Ooh, I love
it was
it.
Jason Sudeikis, not Jason Bateman.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
I was like, I thought Jason
well, that
Bateman
makes it
was
even worse. Ted Lasso? No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Ted.
How old is Sudeikis?
40.
He is 45.
Okay,
Yeah, he's like my age.
so all right, this makes more sense because I was like, man, for whatever I heard, Jason Bateman on I think it was Bill Simmons.
He comes
podcast
off
or
like a
whatever.
pretty cool guy.
Yeah, and he's super smart, and I think just he's not one of those guys that lays down lows direct.
You know what I think he would say? I think he would say, if there was anyone I would want to be one-upped by, it would be Harry. You know what I mean? Like, I can see him making a joke about it because he's a comedian.
Yeah.
Although,
But you got kids, so you probably
Right.
wouldn't. But he kept it quiet, and I think he handled it well.
and they're kids with her, right?
Right,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
No, they're kids with Michael Jackson, Tom.
They were
I
engaged
know.
for like 7 years and never
a
got
little weird.
married. So
It's
there
got
was
to
some
be
kind of commitment issue there.
How old are the kids?
They're pretty young.
Okay, think about this. Like, so your parents are celebrities, and then your mom,
My parents are dead, Tom.
Your parents break up, and then
Well, they broke up for good.
then you have to be inundated with pictures and gossip and stories about your mom dating Harry Styles now,
Right.
which is music in I don't know
It's
in
music
their
for
genre.
you as a young kid, too, because my daughter loves Harry Styles.
yeah, Tommy and Max.
Yeah.
That's what they like. The
Watermelon sugar, ha, yeah, Yeah,
They're like
sing
the
it.
one where he's flying with a helicopter.
Yeah, where you can
I'm
see
like,
the air on the water.
yeah. It'll like. Also, it's weird when you're flying like a Tin Man.
You're flying like Gene Simmons being lifted as a fat ass over the crowd.
Quit flying like that. Fly like Superman or something. Do something with your legs. Move them.
They're 6 and 4 years old,
Wiggle
so they're
'em.
young.
Okay. Still though, 6 is on the cusp
Yeah,
of like,
Maisie is 6, right?
Yeah, but when you're a celebrity, you can kind of isolate your kids, right? They're not going to like public school or anything.
yeah, but they got the internet and.
At 6, they're looking up, hey, who's mom dating?
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
God.
Now, but they
Maisie
do,
was looking up how to change the batteries in a remote last night on YouTube.
but they do have play friends that they talk to. I mean, they're in private school, but they're in school. Then those other kids
Yeah.
talk about things, and like Tommy tells me stuff like now he watches Mandalorian, which is pop culture,
Yeah.
and he talks to his friends about Mandalorian, which they spoiled the ending for him.
He had to deal with that
Yeah,
already?
he didn't care.
At 6 years old?
He's like me. He's like,
That's how I am. I don't care. You can't spoil the ending of stuff to
And
me because I haven't seen it.
And then Max was trying to get him to tell him the ending. I'm like, don't tell him. Don't spoil it for Max. And then Tommy's good boy. Didn't do it. Usually normal brothers will be tell him right away, ruin it.
I'll
But-
tell Max on Parlor later.
But anyway, that's got to be weird. You're like, and I know maybe, I mean, who knows? Like these relationships never last that long. But I mean, and like if this goes on for 2 years, for sure, an 8-year-old will be exposed.
I'm sure
to,
at that point,
Then,
if
yeah.
they're dating that long, she'd probably introduce him to her kids, right?
But that would be weird. You go over to Harry Styles' house with your mom, and then she's laying out by the pool, and he's dancing around in an old lady's watermelon sugar high pants and pearls on, and then your dad is Ted Lasso,
Yeah, yeah.
and your
Like, how
mom's
can you do
boyfriend
this?
is Harry Styles.
Ted Lasso.
I'd be
Pretty
like,
cool, though.
"No,
He tried his hardest.
You know what? I think you're thinking what I would think right now.
Right,
But
at
if
my
we were
age.
kids, we'd be like, this sucks. I hate Harry Styles. I hate Ted
But what
Lasso.
if you're a
and I
fan of
hate
Harry
my mom."
Styles at 6?
It probably ruins it for you.
You think?
Yeah, but I think at 6 years old, your dad is still like he's still.
This is where you inject what you want into
I don't know,
the
man. I guess
conversation.
if Mandalorian walked in, my sons would be like,
Mandalorian.
yeah,
Daddy Mando.
yeah. You know what? I'm out. I got nothing. Because, I'm virtually certain. Boba Fett's scary, so not him. But
I need to stop doing that because I yucked on your yum, and I apologize. You still inject the fool's notion that your boys think, even right now, that you are their hero.
You're the best,
And
yeah.
it's just, I need to let you have that. It's not fair.
No, but you're right.
No.
It's waning.
You know what? I'm going to buy you a Mandalorian helmet, and then you can just wear that with your Tiny Dukes. And
I
then-
have one somewhere from my foot golf tournament last year.
All right.
They're seeing people do better things.
Why do you think I feel?
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
Yeah. I think
I can't even lift my daughter up anymore. She's so heavy.
still though on the cusp of them liking me more than like
You got to get into cosplay now, dude.
I think I'd go over any sort of like singer-songwriter or musician to them. Like Mandalorian's got me, but the Harry Styles or anybody.
You beat Harry Styles?
Yeah. Right now,
But Mando beat you?
Yes, yeah.
I'd go with that math. Yeah, I think that checks out.
I don't
Who's
think
their favorite music artist?
they don't know.
Okay.
They don't really are not into the artist.
Your son's got my daughter on some song called Farts by The Rippers.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
It's still
No.
stupid.
Come on, let it
Farts,
out.
so.
Let me hear it rip. It's like a song that they
Jesus.
sing about farts.
Yeah. It's still yeah.
Let me build you, me and you, show bonding with Butler. Let's all build you a Mandalorian suit.
Also,
I'll come help
Tommy's
fabricate,
next birthday. Yeah.
and I'll make myself an R2-D2 just so.
Oh, yeah.
You flip
But
a
it's
trash
real back there. It's a
trash
trash
can over,
can.
spray
Right
paint it
there.
white, just stand under it.
It was like, I have to move my feet.
Put my vape pen's light out the top of it, dude, on it every time it lights up.
They're calling you the Bear DeLorean.
Butler said he could make me a Mandalorian helmet.
Yeah, but
You can probably do the helmet.
Yeah, he's also going to rub his balls through every inch of that helmet too to get back at you.
and he also said that he bought some sort of a replica Baby Yoda.
He did. He bought a
And he won't tell me how much-
$1,000 Baby Yoda that supposedly is an exact replica of what they would have used on set.
But he still hasn't received it. He ordered it in September.
And it's also
For
been
sure
like,
it's a scammer.
It's also been patinaed to look as if it has been living in a desert tent.
It's only to this
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
because you're that much of a nerd. Oh, yeah.
It was the episode where they defended the village, and Baby Yoda spent most of his time hiding within the reeds of the
man.
Vardlorian sector.
But if I got them, they lose their mind. They yeah.
If you walk in here, if Tommy's like, this Mandalorian smells like White Claw.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I don't know if this is how they met, how Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles met, but he's apparently going to be in a new movie called Don't Worry, Darling, and she's directing it. So that's probably how they came to
Oh, I bet you he's a good actor. Because he seems
was
like
in
one of those guys that...
one of those war movies. What was the one that came out like a year or two ago?
Oh, 1917 or whatever, the World
Bucky
War I?
Lasik?
Skateboarder from Tony Hawk 1?
No, what was that?
Dunkirk.
Bucky Larson?
He was in Dunkirk.
He was in Bucky Larson.
Oh, Dunkirk.
And I heard it was really good. I haven't seen it, but I heard he was really good in it.
I watched that movie. I just can't.
You just don't remember Harry Styles?
I was like, what'd you do last night? He's like, I watched Dunkirk.
The problem is when you put everybody in a military uniform in the past, like it all blends
Yeah.
together. I'm like, I can't tell if Harry Styles or just a
I'm
regular
like, who is
British
that? Is
actor.
that a Nazi or a good guy? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know their colors.
So my God, like I was listening to something the other day about like World War II and some like battles, the Battle of the Bulge, and like these tank battles and stuff. I laugh every time.
Why'd you have to go to that one?
But it's just like the way they describe it, they're like at 5:45, 1,000,000 shells rained down on the forest,
scary.
exploding so much that there was no difference between one and the other. It was just one like 3-hour long explosion,
yeah.
and then people were, and then like I think it was some NPR thing where some guy then was just describing. He was like.
Shelling started and
in a foxhole
for the next 37 days.
It blew up his friend. I'm like, oh my God, man.
it's
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
And we complain because, like, what do you mean the bank closed at 4:30? My God, these people never work. Your grandfather was literally defending the country
It was like,
in a hole.
And it's like it's being incinerated, being traumatized for months. It's
And then when he
insane.
came home, he got nothing.
So back to Harry Styles. So and if you're Harry Styles, now you have a new girlfriend only, right?
Yes,
As of now,
right.
Girlfriend with 2 kids and a famous. Your girlfriend's ex is famous.
Right.
There's a lot of negative here, though, man.
A lot of complications. I
Yeah,
always
the
wonder.
kid
Like,
thing is going to be hard.
why not just I know that love is love and people
You don't pick who you love.
yeah, but it seems like it would be so much less of a hassle if you just went the Leonardo DiCaprio route and just dated
Bang young models.
a young model that has there's like not really a no name, it's just
think
a
I'd go
model.
hermit. I think I'd go straight up hermit. You'd
Yeah.
never know who I was dating. I wouldn't date. You'd barely see me out.
Because now you got a celebrity girlfriend with a celebrity girlfriend's ex-husband, and that is going to
With
always
kids.
Bad.
It's going to be
a bad mix, Harry.
Paparazzi going to be chasing
And they're
you
still
forever.
filming this movie, so if by the end of it, if they split, that's going to be awkward,
And they will.
right?
You know, does anybody, and I'm not saying this to doom anything, and I don't want anybody to say that. It's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Does anybody here believe that this is the love story of all love
No.
stories and that they will ride off into the sunset and die together?
I don't know.
What do you give
Does
it?
anybody believe that?
And who's porking in the past? It's been like a week later.
Look,
Like a week
exactly.
later.
I don't have a good track record, so they
Yeah.
might be broken up by next week.
I
I
give
just
it
have to say no.
the end of January. This will be
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
yeah.
I-
Put it in the betting books.
Yeah.
I mean, it just none of it looks like a good. You're not setting yourself up for success, I would say.
Yeah, like there's no way this lasts over a year, right? At this point, they
can't see it.
They're going to finish filming the movie.
How old is he? 25, 26?
26,
As
yeah.
a 26-year-old man, I mean, like, now he may be
I think he's
different.
24,
And he may be very worldly, and he seems very intelligent and extremely talented, and I think he's an old soul. But I don't know if a 24 to 26-year-old wants to have a 4 and a 6-year-old kid to interact with at any
I
point
know
in
he's
time.
26. Yeah, so they're 10 years apart.
I don't think you want to do that.
and also when the world eventually opens back up, I'm sure he's going to go back on tour and be busy as hell, and she's going to be busy. Well, you know, I'm like everybody's going to be busy, and that
might help it though. So who knows?
I don't know. They usually the doom of a relationship when someone's filming. I mean, this is probably how they met, like you said.
Right.
Like, so they're filming a movie close. They hook up, and then so now
That happens to me when I go and
Plus,
I do.
she's newly single. Maybe she's just out to, get some
That's
styles
true.
and then ride out.
Maybe we're reading into it. Let them have some fun. They're
Yeah.
adults, But it happens to me when I do other people's podcasts.
What do you mean?
I just, sometimes things happen. You fall in love.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Full frontal nerdity. I fell in love with Kim Kardashian.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah, just gotta look into his eyes.
In the podcast tabloids.
Oh.
Nobody reads, by the way. No one cares.
No subscribers.
Yeah.
They've been asking
bad
us to
idea.
stop doing it for years. I die on the hill.
So yeah, this is definitely going to be a relationship that won't last.
Man.
Yeah, I think we're.
And it probably the media making it into a relationship that may be more serious than
Correct.
It is.
That's
It's
they,
like-
they
Well, I
might.
think because they went together to a wedding, it seemed a little more formal.
But you can
so
invite
people-
your friend, right?
100%.
or
yeah.
you're just some hook up and
Right, right.
they're
let's
both
say,
adults.
but let's say there's nothing. Let's say there's absolutely nothing romantic at all. Let's say that Andrea's friend is getting married. A friend of our family is getting married, and she can't go. But I don't want to go by myself, and you got nothing to do. And I go, hey, you want to tag along? Open bar.
Hell yeah.
That's acceptable, right?
yeah,
I
but
think
we
that-
wouldn't be holding hands or
No,
kissing.
hell no, because
which
we're
is
not.
what they were doing. So, I mean, they're definitely together.
Right. But I'm just
how
saying.
serious it is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
We would not be doing that. Yuck.
Well,
For you, not for me. It's just never mind.
Good. Who's porking today? I
That was
like
a good
that
one.
And
I wish them the best, but again,
I
I do
absolutely-
have the who's pork and curse. So
We should always blanket statement by saying we always
Right.
like. I do
Well,
wish.
unless they're terrible people.
Right. I
Which
do
we have
wish
no idea.
this
Yeah, it's
the
true.
best. Yeah, and we never will. And even terrible people that sometimes I say are terrible people, like John Krasinski, or like I don't even know anything
Right.
about that man. I just know when I look into his eyes, I go, yeah.
yeah. Just the
Gives her the willies.
instant read. All right. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here. The fish are here. It's a glorious day. Welcome to it. I sound like a minister there. This is the. Hold on. I'll do it like this. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
I'll plug real quick. We've got a promotion going on currently with True Leave. We've been doing this for months now, but True Leave actually gave us these new camo mesh back hats that they actually sell in the store.
They do.
But you can get one for free if all you have to
Just
do.
grab the rest of them.
Yeah. It's all you have to do.
It's a great hat.
to get one of these True Leaf camo mesh back hats that are super good quality.
You're already going there and purchasing, so why
Yeah.
not just submit your receipt for a free hat?
So if you have your recommendation, which if you don't, by the way, go to trueleaf.com, just look at their physicians,
Super
and
easy.
everybody gets it. Don't worry. And then I'm just telling people,
Tom
you,
Dan
you,
guarantee.
you will get it. I've
Yeah, you'll be
never.
fine.
No one. Have you heard of one person getting denied? I have not. Not one person has ever emailed me
Well,
or
even
told
if you
me.
do, just go to a different doctor.
Yeah, you get a refund. Anyway,
Yeah, if you use DocMJ, yeah.
Go to True Leave, purchase something, and then on the front of the BDM page or tomandan.com, you'll see Get a Gift from True Leave. You click on it. There's a form real quick. We're not sharing this with anybody. Just
No.
we're showing True Leave. Like, look how many are listeners. We'll go to True Leave. You put your address and a picture of what you bought, and then you get a hat.
Easy
we'll,
breezy.
we'll mail it to you, plus a bunch of other Tom and Dan stuff that comes with the hat.
We got stuff.
So it's all free, mailed to you, and all you have to do is buy great THC products that True Leave offers, which
And
I
CBD
shop there all the time.
if you like. If you like.
I'm a big fan of their 10 milligram capsules. I love them. They're perfect amount. And when you start with them, I mean, they may little.
Yeah.
But then it's
No, I'm fine. I'm a
But
50
now my tolerance,
I'm a 50 milligram indica man
yeah.
myself, and
They got 50s,
and I like their sunshine. I like the Sunshine Cannabis.
Yeah.
That's the true stick. But you'll have to go in there and talk to them, and they're all extremely knowledgeable and will educate you. Now, we're in the middle, like smack dab in the middle of not in the middle. We're smack dab in the middle of beginning a brand new year.
Yes.
But with a brand new year comes brand new songs.
Ah.
And I know what you're thinking. Daniel, you wrote a brand new Weird Job Wednesday song. And the answer is no, I did not. But the reigning champion of the best Weird Job Wednesday theme song from our award show of 2020
Oh.
wrote a song.
Yes.
Kenny has big balls now. I'm going to start calling Big Balls Kenny. Big Balls Kenny.
He won the award.
He won the award. He poofed out his chest like a banty rooster. He emailed me. Now he won't stop emailing me. So I'm going to ask Kenny to politely ease up on the emails, Kenny.
You know, I mean,
He's got a taste of the fame.
Does he know we were clowning? I don't know. Okay.
He's got a taste of the fame.
Okay.
He cannot be stopped. We have our Weird Job Wednesday on the line, ready to go. I haven't even heard this because I wanted to be surprised because you guys know that I'm a massive fan.
God.
Dare I say, the largest Kenny fan in the studio. Here is the newest Kenny submission to Weird Job Wednesday.
Hey everybody, I'm going to sing my own theme song. Here we go.
So now he's just doing my songs.
We want to hear the work that you do, but first I'm going to tell you about your job so I'll prove that I know more than you ever knew. Dan thinks that you are witty. I think that you're shitty. Sam's got tickle bitties, Butler's mind is like my kitties. I know I could perform your job, yeah. 2 weeks and I'll do your job. I can tell you are a fat slob, yeah. All our listeners are fat slobs. Yeah, I'm saying it's time for Weird Job Wednesday. We wanna know how much money you make. It's your favorite bit, Weird Job Wednesday. There's only so much interest time can fake.
It's the falsetto, like when he goes, when he starts singing. That
I wanted to hate a kitty, but it made me smile.
He naturally. Now I will say,
tired today, so that's
Kenny. I'm just going to throw it out there. It is your weakest submission. It is, but it's still great.
I'm surprised we never did.
It's like going to CC's Pizza. It's like all the pizzas are equally horribly, wonderfully bad. But that mac and cheese pizza.
Yes,
that's
I was going to say the mac and cheese
that mac and cheese pizza. We know it's bad, but it's still so good.
I'm surprised there's never been a Weird Job Old Town Road.
No, I did. Remember, I did Old Town Van. And then Kenny probably forgot about that and then did this. And that's why, it doesn't matter. On line one is Chuck.
How you doing, Chuck?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Good.
Chuck, you didn't have time to listen to that baby nonsense earlier, right?
Dude, I love that.
Oh, okay, good. All right, Kenny, see?
StreamlineFlorida.com for your refinance or mortgage, everything.
Indeed.
So, Chuck, you're going to talk about an old prior job of yours because you're currently a truck driver, right?
No, man.
Sound like a truck driver. Hold on, let me guess. Let me guess.
Just on your voice.
You are a mechanic.
You're close.
Oh, wait, hold on. You are a forklift driver at an Orchard Hardware.
I've driven a forklift before, but not now.
Oh, he heard the forklift.
I could hear it. I could hear your left ankle.
What do you do now, Chuck?
So I'm a AC-man now.
Oh, AC man.
AC man. Those of us in Florida would tell you thank you for your service.
What do they call that? An HVAC? I never like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I'm like, what do you mean HVAC? What is that? Because people say Jesus H Christ, and then Jesus H VAC.
I think of shop vac.
I do too.
I don't know. It diminishes it for me.
HVAC.
Like you need something. You know
to
how
me it sounds like a little bit like vaccine, but a little like something a gynecologist would do. HVAC. My wife went in for the HVAC. They sucked the baby right out. I don't know. That's what it sounds like.
When you work at like Foot Locker or Home Depot, they call you a sales associate. It makes your crappy job sound fancier.
Subway sandwich artist.
Well, this guy could be.
You need like if you work at ACs, calling yourself an HVAC, it makes it sound worse for whatever reason. I don't know.
You should be a microclimate technician.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like that. Yeah.
What is your former job we're going to talk about?
So formerly, I was a gravedigger.
Oh, I love Grave. Go, Gravedigger! So much better. And while we're on the topic, F maximum destruction. Can we all just
I agree.
agree on that finally?
Here, I don't mind Maximum Destruction. What I mind is the all the spinoffs, Max Fire, Max Ice.
Yeah.
They had
Max D. He just went by Max D for a little while. I'm like, don't go Max D. That's like when KFC went to, or Kentucky Fried Chicken went KFC.
So Gravedigger. Now, what year was this, Chuck?
So this would have been 2000 to 2004 before I got fired.
Oh, how do you get fired from digging graves? You got to be bad.
So let's talk about this, because the only information or idea I have about gravediggers comes from old-timey movies and cartoons when every gravedigger had
think
a lantern and it was
Disney,
it was two skinny goofuses.
It's usually a skinny guy that's like, I mean, this guy's got AIDS. He's so skinny. And then the other guy's like a shorter, portly fella.
Yeah.
And then they have a hound dog with them.
Yeah.
And they have a lantern.
Yeah, and their lantern is on the end of their shovel, and they're digging it by shovel, and it's the middle of the night. And so is that any accuracy? Is there any accuracy to that?
Were you the short guy or the tall guy with AIDS, and did you have a hound dog?
Well, I was the fat, taller guy.
Oh, you were a hybrid. We call those a hybrid.
So in 2000, how do they
so-
dig graves? Yeah.
All right, so digging graves, you go out there and you mark off where it's going to be, and there's lot lines, like your house. And you go out there with a backhoe and you dig a hole, between 4 and 6 feet deep, put a vault in there, and you bury them, and you sing and dance. Everybody's happy at the end.
Okay, back up, Chuck, because you simplified it too much, because
Right.
to me, I'm fascinated with the details.
How long does it take to dig a hole for a grave?
I don't know. Tom's digging one right now, explaining his man's job.
So the time it takes to dig a grave, you're talking somewhere between 20 minutes and an hour and a half, depending on how hard the ground is, if there's rocks, that kind of stuff.
That sounds kind of fun. I don't think that's that
Do you work
bad.
for a specific cemetery, or do you get to travel around a different? Are you
like
contract worker?
1099. You go around. And
So when I started doing it, it was more of those I needed a job, I saw an ad in the paper type thing.
Wow.
The job I was like a mobile maintenance worker, I guess you want to call it. And
groundskeeper.
I would, what I was doing is back in the 70s and 80s, some of the cemeteries in Brevard and Indian River County, people were burying people. They were just throwing a football, and where it landed is where grandma went. So, with that being said, all the vaults, the headstones were not in lines with the lot line. So my job initially was to go and move the headstones in line, and then eventually we dug up the vaults and moved them back in line where they all went.
I was going to ask you that, Chuck, because it seems like we've talked to Don Price every year for years about Greenwood Cemetery, and we interviewed him about the cemetery. There's only a set amount of space in most cemeteries, there's no more or whatever, or you've got your acreage.
What you got is what you got.
Yeah, and so I imagine organizing all the plots exactly to where they're supposed to be is important. And if one of them off, it's you're doing pavers. If you get one paver off, then down the line it's all off. And so, I've
seen that before, and man, it drives me crazy.
So then, when you actually have to find the plot, do you use the similar tools that? When the county workers look at property lines, they use what Ross used to. What are those guys called?
Surveyors.
The surveyors.
Yeah.
They use survey equipment. Do you have to use survey equipment to get the exact location of each plot?
So what happens first is there's a map drawn up, and our cemetery, what they did is they brought in a ground penetrating radar, and they ran over everything underground and got a picture of what's there. So then we brought in the survey guys, and they did a real good survey and made all these pins that we had to put at certain intervals. And essentially, you just take a piece of string and run between two pins, and that gives you one line, then you have pins going the other direction.
Right.
Now-
to give you where it's going.
That's exactly, by the way, what Don Price said that
Yeah.
UCF would do when they were moving some of those. I think they had to move some of the Confederate soldiers or Union soldiers. They were basically doing some upkeep, and they had to use that satellite imaging or whatever you want to call it, X-ray imaging.
Well, it's a thing. Like basically, it looks like a pressure washer box that you go over the
It's like
land.
that thing that pool guys have that they never use.
Yeah,
On the back of
the truck.
Yeah, on the back of the
That's
truck.
what it looks
That
like.
rusts their truck out.
Exactly.
So now, Chuck, when you're moving grave sites and caskets, they make some caskets, like I know certain religions, they have no bottom to the casket, so your body just goes back to the earth. And some caskets are made of wood that I
That's
imagine...
called the Porky Pig casket.
the wood caskets, I imagine, would just disintegrate over, I don't know, if it's like 80 years or something. So what if you dig up some remains and it's just dust and do you
I
try
think
to...
you just act like you didn't see it.
Do you try to get all the dust or what? I mean, or all the vaults and caskets made to last for, how long do they last?
All right.
I don't know.
So, you're partially right. So, whatever Google site you read that was.
He didn't read anything.
I like the
by
shade
way.
you threw.
Chuck, how dare my Google site? That's my brain.
I like that.
I'm always partially right. Remember that,
Calls
Chuck.
himself Tom Google Man.
That's what they're saying. My goddamn, what are they called that you put in the newspaper?
Well,
I'm tired today.
My God.
The best part
When
of,
you die,
the best
you're,
part of what happened was I had to point out to Tom that Chuck insulted him on the end of that. And Tom was like, "Hold on a second, how dare you?"
It'd be Tom Van, partially right.
Yeah, and tired.
So, tell us.
All right. So, the typical vault in Florida is going to be like a septic tank looking thing. It's a big concrete box with a like a seal on the inside, and then your casket goes down inside that. So all the stuff that comes out of you during your decomposition kind of gets trapped in that vault. Okay.
I didn't know that. So at the bottom of most graves is a concrete. Basically, like you said, vault that the casket goes into.
I didn't know that
I
either.
thought it just lowered
Right.
into the ground.
Yeah, there's actually like a concrete liner down inside there.
I don't
goes
want that.
inside of.
What would happen if you just put me in a large, what's that company that makes the ceiling stuff? I use it at the house, and I can't think of it today. I must be tired, too.
the foam spray?
No, the bags that you, like...
Your vacuum seal? Food saver,
Okay,
yeah.
you put me in a big food saver bag.
Yeah.
And you zip me. That's how I want to go.
Oh,
and just put me in the ground zipped up. I want to see how long I'd last. And then when I start...
That's called murder.
Then when I start getting gooey... No, I'll be dead. And then when I start getting gooey and poofing up, everything will stay in there, right?
So is that some sort of legal thing? Every grave needs a vault, like a concrete vault, or can you opt to just be put in the ground with a wood casket or a biodegradable? So it just, you just turn back to the earth.
As far as I know, the law in Florida is you have to be in a vault of some sort. So there's another type of vault called a GSV. And it's essentially like a polypropylene butter dish. It's got like the flat part on bottom, then like a lid that comes down and snaps on top. So those things leak like crazy. But yeah, you do have to be in some kind of vault. Certain religions have to be buried within 24 hours of death. So those are kind of thrown in the cheaper vaults to get in the ground quick that you have on site.
Gotcha. So when you're digging a grave, I'm guessing in the 2000s you're using a tiny backhoe or some sort of equipment, right? You're not using shovels.
I was using a Case 580, which is like a medium-sized backhoe.
Okay.
Now, do you have to do like edge work like a barber? Do you have to like use the backhoe for the big stuff and then get in there with a shovel and like make sure it looks good?
Yeah.
All right, so when I worked there, after I got hired on by the actual company, I became the manager of maintenance, which is digging grave, putting all kind of stuff. Being the manager, I had the authority to hire whoever I wanted. So being a 19-year-old party kid, I hired my brother and 2 of his buddies to come work there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I ran the backhoe, made them get down the holes and clean up all the edges, make them look
This
decent.
is like a Broken Lizard movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
they own a funeral home, 19-year-old party kid.
Now, I've been to funerals before where I'm standing there, everybody's sad, and then I look off into the distance, and the maintenance crew with like the equipment is just standing there waiting for everybody to disperse, so then they can fill in the hole. And then I find that
Oh, yeah,
off-putting
yeah.
for whatever
Yeah, you
reason
do.
because I'm like,
Well, one guy's
they-
scrolling on his phone, he's, checking the scores of the game.
because it's like everybody's sad, we're here, but in the distance they're just
Yeah.
waiting to bury the body because they do this all day and they're very
They're like
nonchalant.
working vultures.
So do you? yeah. So did you have to do that where you just stood off in the background waiting for the funeral to be over so you could get your job done?
Watching Quibbly or
Yeah, so we used to kind of like sit off, like we had a lot of woods behind our cemetery.
Go hide in the
where we-
woods.
I was about to say these maintenance crews need to hide somewhere or get
Just
someone.
give them ghillie suits so they at least blend in.
Don't
a
let
little
the
bit.
family see you 100
Right.
yards in the distance, just waiting with the shovel.
Yeah, can't you give them like a hut,
'Cause
like like a bus stop that they all go into with a little door, a TV, and they're like
Yeah.
a Jiffy Lube waiting room.
It's like
Page me when you're ready.
yeah.
It's like when you're at an event and someone else is waiting to use the bathroom. You get anxiety. You want to hurry up.
Oh, I hate getting too close to the door when you guys are using the bathroom. But then I feel like I need to get in line because then if you don't, people will snake you.
So you'd hide in the woods. Were you cognizant of like, hey,
Well-
I don't not let the family see us?
No, I didn't really care.
Or would you look at the family and then do a V with your fingers and go, ah?
So, I mean, like every once in a while, if she was cute, I would.
Come on, man.
So,
We were told about
anyway,
you, Chuck.
We were warned.
We knew this was coming.
We were warned that you have questionable taste.
a little bit, yeah. So, no, like during a service, you were respectful and you would stand back out of the way, kind of in sight, but not there.
Tuck in your
And,
ICP shirt, bro.
Well, don't stand in sight. I'm just saying, what does it matter? Like, you just
Yeah.
wait until every car leaves.
You're standing there with an Insane Clown Posse tank top on, tucked into your gotcha shorts.
Did you ever have like every once in a while in movies, then they lower the casket?
Oh, one of the straps will break.
yeah, then it falls.
Oh, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
grandma's legs fly out of the
Yeah.
casket. You got to tuck her back in.
Did you ever have any weird things like that happen?
Yeah, we did have one time a man died. He was probably 25 or so years old, and the mother was having a real hard problem with it. He was sitting on the lowering device, or the casket was sitting on the lowering device, and the mother kind of like laid on the casket, and it broke. And the lowering device broke, and the casket fell down, and she fell kind of in the hole, but not all the way in. So we had to kind of deal with that and calm
Someone came
everybody
out of
down.
the
That was kind of crazy.
Oh my god! My god!
terrible.
Like a grieving mom falls
Yeah,
into
you're
her
like,
son's
Fill
grave.
it in. Wait, there's a mom in
Can you
there.
imagine all the people like, oh, like they're screaming. Oh my baby! So
fell in.
So then you fill in, like when you actually start putting the dirt back onto the grave.
You put your earbuds in. You put Disturbed on. You start filling it in.
Is there any sort of like you're being like with the first couple scoops, like
Ginger.
you ginger, or do you not care?
'Cause sometimes
Is
people
that-
toss the dirt. Isn't that thing?
yeah, that's a tradition.
I've never done that, but I've seen people do that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to be a part of that.
Everybody tosses
Yeah.
a handful of
Plus,
dirt.
I'm not getting my hands dirty just because you died.
It was just it's some sort of tradition. So how does that work when you fill in the grave?
Yeah, so the version you've got sounds real pretty and nice. The real version of what happens is there's a big farm tractor that has a dump trailer on the back, about the size of like a dump truck bed. And you just take the dirt out of the hole, put it in that, and then when you fill it, you just back the trailer back up and dump it out. Sometimes the families did want to take like the handful of dirt and throw on the vault. So you would make available a small amount of dirt next to the grave site. if they chose to do that.
I took the liberty of taking some of the dirt and putting it inside of a Qdoba cup.
I think, I mean, if you're going to do some symbolic handful of dirt, just go ahead and get a shovel and just fill the whole thing.
Yeah.
In your
just
suit
let me
and your
do
shiny
Let me
shoes.
get in the truck, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Let me get in the truck and pull the lever, and I'll dump the whole thing.
Have you ever dug a
Let me toot the
grave
horn a couple times.
and buried a casket in the wrong site and
Oh.
then figured it out later?
Yeah,
and
and
do
you're
you
like,
tell the
uh-oh.
family guy? Well, how does that work?
Well, I'm not working there anymore, so I can't get in trouble for it.
I don't know if that's true.
So that means you did.
I mean, you can say that, but you could be arrested.
I stole all the jewelry.
I was going to ask that question.
I stole everything they had, and the younger, the father that was there, I choked him out in the bathroom. I cut his body up and hid it under the church.
I have 10 dead man's Rolexes.
I have a boiled head under my bed.
So, I'm a little bit medicated, so I forgot what.
Did you ever dig the wrong grave in the wrong place, Chuck?
Yeah, what are you doing?
We knew about you.
It is 11:30 and you're already drinking a Mike's Hard Extra. What's wrong with you?
We ain't drinking, man. So anyway, I didn't bury him in the wrong hole, but I did put the wrong name on the wrong grave one time.
Oh.
Like there's kind of like
a Sharpie? Why are you in charge of putting names? I thought there was like an engraved headstone.
Right.
You know.
Well, you put the
Well,
wrong.
the engraved headstone's not there at the time of death. That takes a couple weeks to a month to get that. So we had like these little plastic plaques that you would put down in place of it while you're waiting. Well, there was two of them, bodies put into a mausoleum actually, and I put the wrong plate on the wrong door. That became a huge problem with the family. They were freaking out, and of course, when you put the wrong name on there, then they assume the wrong person's in there. So then we got to open it up and prove Grandma's grandma.
Oh no!
Oh, man.
I feel like
You gotta prove. Why
I
do
just
I
take
need
your
proof?
word for
Yeah,
it.
it's like, I don't care where she is now.
So they wanted to open it up and like look at.
Hold on, that may be a replica of her. I'm gonna have to undress her.
Yeah, they actually had us open the crypt up, pull the casket out. The morticians came down, opened the casket up, verified it was the person who's supposed to be in there.
How do you verify it? Dental records? or-
No, I think you just
Or
look.
you,
Well, I think they're
you
still
look at a
fresh
picture
corpse.
and look at the person's face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I don't
but
know.
something's
Somebody,
off.
hey Jerry, get it. Hey, does this look like Mrs. Gertrude to you?
So our final.
Oh God, her nose fell off. Oh
final
God,
question,
put it back
Chuck.
in there. Stuff it back in there.
So
Oh, God, seal it up. Put some tape on it. Oh God. Oh God, she's leaking. Oh God, I got it on me.
So, what do you make as a grave digger in the early 2000s?
So I was making about $18 an hour, and I was living at home with my grandma at the time, so I had no bills at all.
fresh meat.
So I mean, it's not great money, but for a 19-year-old kid,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
ridiculous money.
damn good.
Yeah.
It's
I
more
mean,
than I make.
it seems like
Yeah,
it
it's not
wasn't that hard, right? Digging the hole. I guess there's some complication.
20
with
minutes
making
to an
sure-
hour and a half, he said, tops with a backhoe. That's
How
not
many
bad.
did you have to?
Yeah, well,
One a
the
day?
real good part was all that dirt we took out of the ground. You always have extra dirt. So if you've been to a cemetery, you've seen the maintenance guys riding around on the gators, the mules, and all that kind of stuff. So I used to take that dirt out back in the woods. We had 20 or 30 acres of just land out there. And I built all these jumps to jump the gators and the mules over.
There we go. Man, that's like an awesome punchline.
You took the grave dirt and you built jumps with it.
So he's like a real gravedigger.
I like that's basically Florida. I take grave dirt and
I get
build
lemons.
jumps.
I make lemonade. I get grave dirt. I make gator jumps. When life gives you old people dirt, make some jumps.
All right, Chuck. Well, we appreciate that. It's pretty interesting. Is there anything new that they do? Basically, just do it the same way they've always done it, or you have no
Well,
idea?
they have
now?
those tree bags now. Doesn't your wife want one of those where they
Oh,
put you in a
God.
bag with a
Yeah.
seed,
I have-
and then your body becomes like a mush goo, and it like.
It's too much work. I'm
Yeah.
just going to do the standard.
Why are you going to be alive?
Oh yeah, well, I just
She's going to put you in a tree bag. I'm going to make sure.
Don't let her put me in a tree
I'm going to
bag.
make sure she does. I'm like, wait,
Chuck,
put it in a tree bag.
Don't let the crow put me in a tree bag. Just burn me up.
Burn me up.
You've got my instructions.
I'm just gonna burn your legs and then put
he doesn't dig graves anymore.
I'm gonna.
Well,
Chuck,
I'm just telling everybody I
Okay.
can.
Chuck, you're the winner. I'm gonna hang up on you. Okay.
All right, then.
All
right,
right.
Chuck.
Great job, man. Hey, I'm gonna burn your legs off,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna put your torso, your trunk. I'm gonna put that in the tree.
no.
Happy meeting.
Okay, all right.
Happy, you get a little bit of burn, a little bit of tree bag. Everybody's happy.
You know what?
Because if I'm still alive, Andrea and Crystal will still be friends.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but the chances are I won't be alive.
No, you'll live because you'll.
Hey, put me in your tree bag so I'll have a friend when I pass over.
I've told you before, you'll detect any small problem that you ever have. So
Well,
you'll
apparently we've got black mold in here, and I didn't detect that.
yeah, but it's only with your
Samantha
body.
did.
Yeah. But you'll detect it, and then you'll catch it early. Me, by the time I'm like, ow, this hurts at stage 5.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's like it's done. So
You look bad.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
only
yeah.
weigh 66 pounds.
So, you know what? Scratch that. Do whatever's the most complicated for everybody involved because I want to leave a legacy of a pain in the ass.
Well, how many bones are in your body? Because I could put each bone in a tree bag and create a forest.
yeah.
A forest.
Yeah. Put every bone of mine in a tree bag, and then I want to plant it in all 50
Why
states.
do people care about that? That's a thing, right?
You know what? I'm going to leave super pain in the ass instructions. Like every one of my
man.
bones, all 50 states.
I want a tree in every state with one of my bones in a tree bag.
The skull in Hawaii, like the heart.
The skull we're gonna skydive
Okay, yeah.
into the blue hole.
Oh yeah.
Like
Belize,
you're
yeah.
in Belize,
and then scuba dive.
and then I'm gonna go to Bora Bora, rent one of the huts.
Yeah. I need a McAfee.
Then I'm gonna put your skull through the hammock hole
Yeah.
onto the chest of the maid.
yeah.
And then I'll bury you in sunken treasure in Bora Bora
there it is.
in
Yeah,
a scuba area to scare people when they go down there.
Write that down, Samantha.
That's actually not a bad idea. I take your skull.
Yeah.
Follow me here. I take your skull to Blue Springs.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
swim down to the sign where it says "Don't go past here." And I put your skull there.
yeah.
That would literally make people freak the f out.
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, what happened? But like, how did he make it here? And they're like, it's right at the end. But I guess you put
He tried to turn back, but he died.
kick it back until it gets, so at least it's a little believable.
Norm in our Twitch chat room, and he probably thought I let this pass during our Weird Job Wednesday, but I cannot. He said that one time he shaved one of his eyebrows off for free CC's pizza. and I made a mental note.
Why?
That's the worst thing I've ever. I made a mental note. I seriously.
Why did you
that
do
was
that,
like an
Mom?
hour ago. That was like an hour ago in the chat.
Was that a radio promotion?
That was in the chat. I made a.
Oh my
I just
God.
wanted to let you guys know. I made a mental note of how horrible that was.
All right. We got a guest next, so bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here. Let's jump into some voicemails. We have a bunch that kind of came in over our vacation, over our break, and music's on.
Hey.
Sorry. Sorry. I like to during the breaks. I like to practice my salsa dancing because I have a competition coming up.
So I know how much Tom's wife loves saving water, and it got me thinking about my water habits and how horrible they are. I have a habit of going into the bathroom, and right before I get in the shower, I turn the water on like you're supposed to, and then I proceed to take a 30-minute while I scroll on Instagram or Facebook or whatever app I'm on while the water is running in my shower. And then I get in the shower, and
My God,
I've got
sir.
about 45 seconds before the water gets cold. Yeah.
That's what I do too.
Why?
I turn on the shower and then I go to my closet and I walk in there and they're showering and I'm like, what am I gonna wear today? What am I gonna? And then I kind of do a little bit of that too.
No, you got to let it run for 2 solid minutes, then jump in.
Because what I don't like doing is picking up my clothing, setting it out there, then going in there nude, turning it on, and then standing there with nothing to do for 35 seconds.
Well,
Can't stand it.
then just do turn it on 35 seconds. Believe me, I'm with you. And also,
I talked about this it's so funny that this voicemail came in this morning. I talked about this last night with Andrea because she was letting the water run constantly while she was rinsing dishes. And I said, turn that off. Crystal says that's bad for the earth. You're wasting water. And I don't care, but I was just using it as I was getting her, I was like jabbing her ribs.
But to me, I'm like, it's going back to the earth. Like, I'm giving the earth water, and I don't know where it's coming. It's coming from the earth. It's recycled.
Are more people like this guy and like you and I think.
Oh yeah, man, extreme waste there.
Are there more?
American.
Because I have never heard of anyone other than your wife being the type of person that would turn faucet on, rinse, faucet off, put in dishwasher, grab plate, faucet on, rinse,
Talk
faucet
to
off.
any crazy environmental person or animal person, they're all like that.
Rob.
Find the craziest person you know,
Like
and
Rob
they're gonna do
Greenfield,
that.
right? Like
Yeah,
Rob
yeah.
Greenfield.
Well, he's using rainwater and stuff. He's a step above Crystal. He's like, you use a faucet, you're an animal. you're the reason.
I drink my own pee.
How dare you?
Yeah, the reason
I'll break your faucet in half. You breathe air?
Have you ever taken a shower in an RV? And had to conserve because you weren't hooked up to sewer.
No, I've taken a shower in an RV multiple times, but never using only the water we would be pulling with us.
Well,
I like the shower where you sit and you can deuce while you're showering.
Oh, yeah,
I think every shower should have a toilet in. In fact, we've seen pictures. Some of our listeners have sent pictures. I want a toilet in my shower, so I want to sit there while hot water is pouring on me while I'm dumping out my own hot water.
So if you taken a shower in an RV that now, like when we stay in Brooksville or whatever, we have a water hookup. The hose is on, but there's no sewer. So all like your black water, which is
I know.
and then the gray water is considered where the dishes.
Well, the
any
gray
sinks.
water is the Confederate water. The blue water is the Union water.
And so your gray water tank is where the shower water, your sink water, any sort of, besides from the toilet water. Toilet water
you
goes
gotta
to
keep
black
that
water.
separate.
Anyway, so we have to conserve that because the gray water tank will fill up and then just stop. It'll become too full. Like it'll basically just stop at the drain. So when I was taking a shower the last time we went there, Chris was like, "Don't waste that much. It's in there." She's like, "You have to be like squirt, and your hair soap up all your whole body.
Get it? No.
Then squirt, and then let the water, and then wick the soap down."
I'm not wicked. I'm not a candle,
And
son.
so I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'm in there. I'm like, a little bit. And then I hear a scream like, the needle's moving. She's screaming. And then she's like, you moved the needle half a quarter tank, you idiot. And then I'm like, this is Uncle S. Like, there's nowhere to live. Like, and then I imagine people conserve water like that. Like in other countries.
Well, how much does it have in there?
What I don't know.
In the tank.
Well, if you're there for like multiple days, the kids got to take a shower, your wife's got to take a shower. The holding tank
Those
is not.
kids aren't wicking soap off their bodies.
Yeah, but she's doing it, so they're miserable because she's like squirt. She has,
Is it freezing?
Squirt.
no, it's got a heater.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just that.
You ever had a shower in a hose, like with a hose? That's the worst.
Shower with some hose.
I have done that too.
Actually, I have not. Sam. I've
like
always
outside, like
loved
your
it.
water, like your shower is getting renovated or something, and you have to like shower outside in your backyard.
I had a friend who had an outdoor
And
shower
it's freezing.
that was built, like with 2x4s, and you could
Yeah.
see, and it was like outside his parents' bedroom. And I used it one time, but the whole time I was using it, all I could think about was his mom, who was hot with big T's, showering outside, and I was like, "Oh man, I wonder what." And I was in my mind, I was planning to like ride my bike to his house and like camp out in the bushes. I never did it, but I'm just saying that's what I thought about.
Yeah, me too. Teen boys have a lot of peeping Tom fantasies.
You don't act on any of it. Well, some
people
do,
do.
but I'm just saying the vast majority because I don't want to fall into
But
a
that's what
Tom
it
trap.
comes
Next thing you know, I say nobody does this. Sam's punching.
Wonder why I'm paranoid all the time.
Sam's like, it's happening.
Like every single time you would run through the scenario of being the invisible man, it always went to hiding.
I always go to the showers.
And then the girl shower or someone's bathroom.
Here's a fact.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like you're like,
And I
oh my
want
God.
Butler, I want you to at least stand in the doorway to hear this declaration. If I ever become invisible, If you can't find me, I'm in the showers.
Well, then we'll still be able to see you.
No, not in the shower. You can't see me. I'm invisible.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you have to stay on the side. If the
Well,
water
you'll
hits
see
you,
a little bit. You'll be like, yeah.
If water, I
You'll
know.
be like, that's a little bit larger bottle of shampoo. Who went to Costco?
Shoot the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, why does that always work?
They're like, well, what is that? Is that one of the Porky's pigs in my shower?
The ghost of the fire finally got him. He looked happy. He's wearing sunglasses. Anyway, yeah. It's conserving water stinks, but I go back to my original question that I asked my wife, which she never really gives me a 100% answer, where I'm like, do we have a water shortage in Florida where the community is asking us to preserve water? I'm like, I don't think that's
Well,
happening.
conserve, not preserve. But I think preserve could work too.
Preserve, conserve. Anyway, I'm just saying, if
Oh my God, Jesse Jackson's here, everybody.
I'm just saying, like, if I live in an
If you
area,
start talking about Hymietown, like the old SNL skit, they're totally going to get into trouble.
it's like when people around me are like, "Hey, just buy the toilet paper that you need. Don't hoard it or whatever." Then I'm like, "All right, I'll do. You got it. You know,
Yeah, I'll just buy one.
I'll do my part." You know, but then I go there to empty. I'm like, everybody else is doing it, and then call up the manager of Publix. I'm like, hoard me as much as you can get.
I do that too. Like I walk in there, right? And Andrea's like, just take what you need. We're a small family. Plus, we're small family in size. We don't use a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah.
We got small butts. So I go over there, and then I see everybody running and grabbing it. So I do the same thing. And I run and I grab it all, and I come home with like 25 things of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And Andrea's like, why did you get this? I was like, so no one else can have it.
Herd mentality.
Yeah, it's like you're not a violent person, but everybody's throwing rocks at the police. You're like, I'll do it too. Like, you're like, hey, like, I don't know. Like, everybody's doing it.
Well, they're throwing rocks at him, and if I don't throw rocks, maybe they'll throw rocks at me. So I'm throwing rocks.
Yeah. Then you're lighting a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, you're like,
He's like, I don't know how it got this far.
This escalated.
And then you're like, oh my God, he's burning alive.
I'm a domestic terrorist.
Like, I just wanted to see what was going
I
on.
just wanted to fit in.
You know what? I should have just conserved water. That would have been a lot easier. I'm burning cops now. I should have just saved
Stayed
some
home and conserved
saved some water with my wife and my boys.
It's like when I was in high school, the Elian Gonzalez protests were going on in Miami. Me and the Wizard jumped in my truck
I remember that.
and then just started driving because they were burning tires. And
Why?
it was
Why?
chaos.
Why?
Because we were choppers back then. That's what choppers
There we
Oh
go.
my God, he admitted it.
Yeah. We're choppers with no parents telling us.
Choppers with attitude.
So we're like, there's riots happening. Let's go to 8th Street, Burr Road. And then we just
CWP
we're like, oh my
choppers
God.
without parents.
And then we're like, drive towards the fires. And then we're driving. And then we get there. We're like, oh.
Now what?
Well, then we just started like pretending.
Fist pumping, yeah.
Because we had to blend in. We didn't. Back then,
Right.
there was
Oh my God.
there was no like anti-protesters in Miami. There was no one like for the.
No.
Or at least I know. Like everybody was
Well, you're not
against
gonna-
them taking
you're not
Ilion.
gonna see it, no.
Yeah, so it wasn't like today where you see protesters and there's always the people against them everywhere you go. Back then it was, like, hey, we were just
It's
yelling
the
out the
people
window.
versus the man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Anyway, that's
Let's try.
Took a turn.
Let's try this one right here from old Canadian Josh.
Hello, Tom, Dan, Sam, and Choppy. It's Canadian Josh. I just wanted to weigh in on the discussion you guys were having about psychedelics and how it relates to dealing with mental health issues. As you guys know, I've been a paramedic. Actually, been a paramedic for 19 years now. So diagnosed with PTSD a long time ago, dealing with all that paramedic stuff. I've done it all: therapy, medication. I've abused alcohol, drugs, everything. And about a year and a half ago, I started getting into meditation, and then started supplementing that with microdosing psilocybin. And man, it is a game changer. You guys were talking about how some of these psychedelics actually change your neural pathways, and meditation does that as well. But kind of look at psilocybin as an enhancement to meditation. If you're looking at getting into it, I would highly recommend the book and app by Sam Harris called Waking Up. It has been great. I microdose once about every 6 weeks or so. I did once. Don't want to say it's a bad experience, but I did on one of my trips. I completely lost the sense of having a body which was
Hey, that
kind of
happened to me
freaky.
this weekend.
But other than that, it's been great. Look into it if that looks like something you guys want to get into, or anybody who's listening dealing with mental health issues. That's my journey. It might not be for anybody, but just wanted to share that. Love you guys. BDM for life.
Are mushrooms legal in Canada?
Yeah. No.
Are they? Maybe because
I don't know what I'm talking
Canadian
about.
Josh,
I think
send
they
us a
are.
package.
I don't
it's
know.
decriminalized probably.
I don't know if not having
Washington,
a body would help my anxiety.
Didn't help mine, let me tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem with microdosing every 6 weeks is that I'm not a microdose type of person.
You're at least a medium
No,
dose.
I'm
I'm like
I've been
microdose.
talking about
Too
Then I'm
many
like,
micros.
I'm like, oh, I think I'm at full dose.
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. Like
I'm
last
at,
night, I
two
mic-
dose.
Yeah, last night I
Shaggy
microdosed.
Dos Equis.
If you're Dos Equis, then I'm microdose. And we are.
Yeah.
I microdosed an entire cart last night. Is that that's not a microdose, right? Like that's
No.
yeah,
Now-
that's not a microdose.
I
When you look down and you're like, this thing's not pulling anymore. Oh, gone.
This is going to make a lot of people mad.
That should be the name of your book. That should be the name of your book.
But and Daniel will agree with me. I know he will.
Okay.
I know he will.
We'll
But
see, we'll
it's going
see.
to make him mad. So I know this does not make any sort of sense, and any sort of psychologist or
We are
neuroscientist.
not medical professionals.
Yeah. And they were going to be
Who
like,
said
no,
we were?
it's all
Do not
subjective.
take any of our
Wait, we
advice.
are? We're mental? Yes.
Everybody's brain works differently. Everybody experiences trauma differently, so it's not. It doesn't even matter the level of trauma. It's just like there's versions of trauma and
All
small.
right, you got your blanket statement out of the way.
When someone says they got PTSD and they're not like a war veteran, you know what I'm saying? Like I think there should be two names.
Yeah.
Because then now here's the problem with Josh. He's seen a lot of bad stuff.
Terrible
being,
things, I'm sure,
Being
yeah.
a
You
paramedic
think there
and
should
stuff
be
like
like
that.
fought for the country, military, PTSD.
Yeah, there should be a
I'm
spectrum.
an American
yeah.
hero. And then on the other side, there's the.
And then it's like, my dad was an alcoholic, and then like, what, did he abuse you?
So you
did he
want
like, no,
separate
no,
lanes. Yeah,
like, he
I
didn't
kinda do
abuse
agree
me,
with
but
that.
he drank too much.
What if they
and-
did abuse you? Because my therapist
Well,
said I have PTSD.
that's a level
what
up.
Tom is
I'm
saying-
bad. I'm a war veteran.
What Tom is saying is
but
there's
you're
a-
less than the war vet. I'm
then
sorry.
you have the war veteran who
I
watched
need
his entire
alphabet.
platoon die, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Who watched,
yeah.
70 of his best bros who are defending our country
Right.
die.
And he
then you have the
flamethrowed
one guy
a school.
who watched
Right.
his grandfather have a heart attack at Walmart. and it's the same. It's not the
There's
same.
there's a spectrum
I
of
knew
PTSD.
It's not the same.
Put an alphabet. PTSD A is
Oh,
the
here we
worst.
go.
Like
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
World War
Yeah.
One. You're in the some sort
trenches.
of bunker. There's
And
millions of
PTSD is my girlfriend cheated on me.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
All
there
right,
it is.
all right.
This is what I love about my job.
Send your email.
As we can,
Scream at us.
we can when I bond with my buddy Daniel, and we
By the way,
do a lot
the
of bad.
example that I used was I did watch an old man have a heart attack in the Cruisin' USA machine at Walmart. That was the example I was referencing. For those of you who've been listening to the show for a long time, and I was playing the fishing machine next door, and I walked, and then I went about my shopping. When I came back out, they told me he had died.
Didn't affect that's actually enhanced Daniel's
I
life.
didn't have PTSD. Like it's become a story that I tell on the show.
Yeah.
It's
It made you money.
It's my favorite story.
You think about it every day.
Every morning when I wake
You brush your teeth. You're like, all right, that's my Monday morning motivation.
Oh man.
Bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. It is Friday. Sam is here. Butler is here. I'm excited. The weather this weekend is supposed to, well, it depends on what you like.
Right.
I like it hot, so this is going to be a change, but I'm going to go into it with a positive attitude. High of like what, 65?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go into it, put a sweatshirt on, brave it, have fun. But yeah, we're easing ourselves into what should be a glorious weekend.
It'll be hot again. Don't worry. You know,
It'll come back.
You can always count on that.
We got the Florida winter is pretty short.
I like that.
It always happens the week of my anniversary trip, so it's always freezing.
Yeah.
That's weird. You have gotten, and Tom said something just now that I enjoyed that. You gave me almost like a grandpaism. You gave me like a little You're like, it'll be hot again. Don't worry about it. You know, like you gave me like, you're becoming, and it's a very attractive trait.
Old grandpa.
Yeah.
No. That's not what I'm saying. It's a very attractive trait that I believe you're picking up. I'm not doing a very good job with it. But you are easing yourself into becoming like an actual, real cookie cutter chef's kiss of a dad. I mean, that's a really good.
Do I want to?
Yeah,
be
it's like
that? I don't know.
well, like one of the. It's like it reminded me of the way that you said it and how quick it fell off your tongue was as if you had said, "Working hard or hardly working." You know, it's like
Yeah.
And I like that. There's something very comforting about this. I'm trying to pay you a compliment without you taking it down the negative road of, "Are you calling me an old man?" No, that's not what I'm saying.
I think it's you move into or you transition into where you just say things because you're like, well, I have to can say something
right
in this conversation, but you're just saying some sort of saying
to move it on.
Yeah, because you don't want to concentrate on actually having a conversation.
So is it like a grandpa yes and?
It's kind of a low-key dismissal.
All right. I like the negative.
It's I don't want to talk.
Right.
But I just say small talk, but it's not even small talk. It's
but
you,
I
you
honestly didn't get that vibe from what you said.
Yeah, but that's when it's good.
But that's because
Right.
So what you're
He's
saying?
so good at it, you didn't even recognize
that
it.
makes sense
I
because
just said some
you
nonsense.
are a true young grandpa master. All right, that makes sense.
It's just a regular dad. It's just like I don't know.
It's a dadism.
Yeah.
You're just you've fallen into. All right, this is it. Like this sounds bad, but it's not that bad.
Like I did one yesterday.
This is it. Is can be good.
Yeah, I did one yesterday with Maisie, who looked at me and Andrea, and there was another mom standing there picking her up, and she says, "I'm thirsty," and I go, "Hi, thirsty. I'm Daddy."
Oh God, my dad used to say that.
I mean, I'm just
Or he'd be like, "I'm Franny."
Well, that's a classic. What I went with there is a classic. Tom has obviously rolled his eyes. He's far more advanced.
Right.
Than I. That's what I'm saying. I'm paying him a compliment. He knows how to do this better. He's the fun dad. I am not the fun dad. I am the Punisher. I'm the heavy.
Wow.
No, I am. You know this. We've talked about it in the house.
Yeah.
Andrea is fun. She takes Tom's role. I am not that guy. I'm the, hey, what are you doing? Stop doing that. Get off of there. I'm that guy. And it sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Don't do it. Yeah. Just
Well, then it's
Take a
just
stand.
then it's just wild. Somebody has to have law and order.
Maisie.
I'm the Buford Pusser of our house.
I'm not joking.
Walking tall,
If you-
walking small.
If you just stopped everything as far as parenting, Maisie be fine. Like she's already got enough.
You think?
Yeah.
There is a cutoff where they say there's a fact.
It's like you put enough gas in her tank, it'll get her there.
Yeah.
She's already there.
I mean, I just got to get her to like what 14, I think. What's the legal age?
No, dude, I'm telling
Legal age of what?
I like not knowing. There are people that actually believe that I was being serious there. Uh-huh. You know that.
Yeah.
I will get an email.
Just like how we interviewed Alex Trebek.
I got an email about that too.
So you've instilled enough. She's got enough independence and smarts, and
She'll figure it out.
Yeah, she got it. She's good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
You know, you
Fair
could
enough.
just go to being fun dad. She's already good.
I think by second grade, you can just write it off.
No,
For her.
Oh, I don't have long.
If you
You only got a couple more years left.
yeah.
But shit, the part I'm neglecting to tell you guys, she
She's not
wants to have
yeah.
anything to do with me. Is
Well,
she's so independent.
I can't do
You
anything
got to
about
rebel
that.
against the dad, of course.
Yeah, I can't do anything
Every
about
girl
that.
does that.
She'll be. She'll do too well in high school because of you and Andrea and how much Andrea loves school. So she'll be taking college courses in high school,
Like her mom, a nerd.
Hauser,
She'll be a nerd.
and then she'll already have a full scholarship, some school like out of
But
state.
that's
or
good
whatever.
because I'll be dead early,
Yeah, she'll
and
be-
I won't get to see any. Well, she better do
She'll
that.
be out of the house
Yeah.
at 17 and a half.
Well, she better because
She
I
might emancipate herself in her teens. We don't know.
Oh, like a Drew Barrymore scenario.
Macaulay Culkin.
But the Drew Barrymore, very
No.
promiscuous.
Yeah.
Lot of tattoos on the old pubic areas. I don't know about that. You want to do some emails and voicemails?
Yes, yeah.
We're going to bounce off of pubic areas right to emails and voicemails. If you want to send the show an email, show@tomandan.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail message, you can do so by calling 1-844-TOM, the letter N, DAN, 1-844-TOM and Dan. You can also text that number.
Yep.
There are tons of ways to get in touch with our program. Why don't you touch on that for a second while I
if you
dig
just,
up these files?
If you want to text the number, you can't just text it. You got to text BDM first,
Right.
and that opts you in.
You have to opt in. We don't want to be a pain in your ass.
Yeah. So then once you text just BDM to our show number, then you're opted in. Then you could text us freely, and then you'll receive show announcements or texts from us, when we want to tell you something. But that's another way to contact us if you want to,
Indeed. All right. This is going to go down as my ACT voicemail of the week, and it just came in like literally 3 minutes ago.
Hot off the voicemail
this
presses.
one is still got some melted butter on it.
All right.
Oh, hold on.
No.
Wait for it. It's going to be good, guys.
No, there's nothing that Tom likes more than that. No, hold on. Here we go.
Hey guys, Bubble Bath Billy here. So I've got a story. I know this guy. He's in his early to mid 20s. He's not super Christian, but he grew up in a Christian household and schooling. So he's never had sex. He's not necessarily, I guess, saving himself for marriage, but at least wants to be in a committed relationship, or at least that was kind of his plan, through his teens. Now he's dating this girl who is, quote unquote, I guess, a born again Christian. And she is super abstinent. So she doesn't want to have sex at all until they get married. She's committed to that. He knows that. The thing is, though, before she, I guess, came to Jesus, she was kind of crazy before and had sex with guys and partied and all that stuff. And anytime, we're drinking,
Crazy.
she'll readily talk about the fact that she's had sex before, and he just always sits there kind of awkwardly. And if you ask him, he would say, yeah, I would have sex with her right now. They're engaged. They're planning to get married. So he wants to have sex, and she's like, no, we're not having sex. I'm going to make you wait till marriage. But he has to sit here and listen to all these stories and know that he knows that his girl has hooked up with guys in the past, not too distant past, even.
So what?
I just think that is the most situation. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on it. If you're
There
both
it is.
virgins and you're both waiting for marriage, whatever, more power to you. But for the guy to be like, yeah, I want to have sex with her, but he's a virgin, he's never gotten to do it, and she's like, nope, making you wait till marriage. I've already banged dudes. That just must suck. It must make you feel pretty. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's their business, and saving yourself for marriage. I mean, my wife was a virgin when I met her. We've talked about that before. But it is in poor taste, I believe, for that particular gal. I'd have to be there. If she's
why are they talking about it so much? That's weird to me.
That is weird.
But so what if she had a past and she decided that she doesn't want to?
Well, I don't think
wants
that
to change.
That's
her
not the
lifestyle.
argument. That's not the argument. The argument is not about that at all. That's fine.
Yeah, well, he called her crazy because she had sex before and went to parties.
No. Yeah, I think you're reading too far
Okay,
into
maybe
it.
I am.
Yeah, I think you are. The issue is not that she has a past. The issue is that she's telling her past to a guy that really wants to have sex with her, and she's sitting here talking about, oh yeah, I did this and I did this,
Well,
that.
we
and the
don't
other
know
thing.
that either. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
I
I need
know,
to know the
but-
context of
let's
when
just-
and why and how she's talking about it.
All we can go on is what the voicemail guy said,
Right.
right? So let's just go on that. That's all we got. But I'm just saying that is in poor taste. And
Can't
if I
the guy ask her to stop talking about it?
that's
if it
what
makes
I
him
would
uncomfortable?
do. That's what I would do. I'd say,
Okay.
yeah, you got to ease up on that. You got to shut
And you're
up.
going to marry her. You might as well be honest with her that it makes you uncomfortable.
You got to shut up with the sex talk. You can't be doing that to all of our friends. You're making me too horny, and I want to have sex with you.
Right.
Dude,
Be honest, yeah.
Well, we could all agree that this will never last, right? I'd bet a lot of money against the marriage lasting more than 5 years. Probably.
Yeah, that's dysfunctional.
$3,500.
Now, again, to go back to the only thing that we know is Bubble Bath Billy telling us this, right?
right.
And he says that's got to be the Essia situation. Okay, maybe it is.
But he's choosing to be in it.
Or maybe they are so comfortable with the way that they talk, and maybe he knows these stories up, down one side and down the other, that it does not bother him. So in that case, it's none of your business.
And he decided to propose to her knowing her past, so that he made that decision.
That would make you uncomfortable, wouldn't it?
What?
It would make me very uncomfortable.
Well, not having sex until you're married. I've seen one instance where I knew this guy and he was like a born again Christian, and he had a party lifestyle before.
Oh,
he
that
was
happens a lot.
Born again Christian.
I think
you
we
know.
all know those guys.
He was rich. He did the Playboy type of had a super nice Lamborghini,
Yeah, just
Ferrari,
all the cliches,
Yeah,
right?
like a Vegas, like all the stuff, party animal, like bang chicks, crazy, and then born again, and then for his family and his sons. He was basically, I call it indoctrination, but he was, indoctrinated them into the religion and his beliefs, and then was telling them don't have sex until you get married because this is I've done all these mistakes, and he would tell me about it, and I would say, well, you had an experience with the other side, right? And then that led you to this epiphany,
right.
and then now you
use that knowledge
to
but
put
you where you are. Yeah, it's all a journey.
So now you don't want to ever go back to that,
Right.
but you experience it, and I think that's an important part of the psychology, but making the decision. Now, if you don't let your son experience the other side,
it's
and you
knowledge,
just tell
right?
him, don't do it, I did that, it's not a way to go.
It's that whole do as I say, not as I do thing.
And then you're like, do you think that's going to be healthy? Because he's going to always wonder what the other side is unless you experience.
He's a great grandpa. I'm telling you, this guy's naturally good at
call
this
him a
stuff.
grandma?
I might have called him a grandma. I'm in love with him today.
You'll never understand how sweet something could be unless you taste the sour, right?
You gotta let people have their own experiences.
So anyway, I watched it play out. Literally, sometimes you could you're like, oh, it's so obvious. Anyway, the son got married, probably pretty too fast. He was young,
oh my God! All right, I know he's talking about.
Real young to get married, 18 or something, and that's young nowadays. We're not in the 1950s anymore. And then immediate divorce. Less than a year later,
I didn't know that part.
Married again now, but it's he probably obviously got married quickly because he wanted to have sex, just like every 18 and 19-year-old. Anybody male under 25, you're so crazy about sex because your testosterone, all that, and then so you make decisions probably that are not the best decision because that's motivation, obviously, and then you find yourself in this situation. But it's so when you tell someone abstain from sex because it's not good for you,
sure,
I understand. There's one thing if you did that, but it's another thing if you experienced all the other parts and then decided, and then now you're preaching abstain, but you got the experience the other side, and that probably fortifies it for you. But everybody else you tell that to that never experienced the other side is going to be constantly.
Yeah, but I feel like what you're describing is the majority of parents. I think I think most parents fail as a young person. I think we have a lot of failures as young people, right? We drop the ball. That's how you learn. And I think most parents have done that. And then when it comes to our children, I think we go immediately to absolutely do not do this. Well, most.
Yeah. I don't know. Nowadays, I guess it depends on the circles you run in. But unless you're really religious, I think probably a lot of parents are like, hey, preach safety more than abstinence. So
schools are still teaching abstinence, dude. It's bad.
Schools?
Yeah.
Like public schools?
Yeah.
What are they teaching?
And their sex ed.
They're saying.
I don't even know.
Hold on. When I went through sex ed, they taught us condoms,
we did a lot of
not
condoms.
abstinence. I guess it depends.
Yeah,
on
it depends on the school too. I guess
what school you go to, but that's weird.
I went to public schools, and they taught us about condoms, but they basically said those are for when you're married and you don't want to have a kid, kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't encourage it. They left a gray area there.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray.
They didn't encourage us, but they didn't. I think they kind of knew what was going to happen. And if you ever wanted condoms, you could go to the office and get them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
they had them. They had a basket of them.
Must
have gone to.
We didn't have that at our school.
I was in a small town. I mean, I wouldn't say I went to a liberal high school, but yeah, if you needed, and this is in '94.
Yeah, wow, that seems pretty progressive.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, I mean, we had the girls on campus that were all pregnant that all were in the same class. I think everybody had that, right? The teen mothers class.
We had quite a few.
Yeah,
girls.
and we had that. I remember going over there, but I remember enjoying going over there because I found I was one of the message runners around school. Where teachers would
Oh, nerd.
Teacher's pet.
This is before email. Like, I mean, that's how old I am. This is before
Right.
like you could just email teacher emails. I'm taking little pink slips back and forth, messages to people. That's how damn old I am.
If they let you, the kid that was allowed to roam freely because
There's a lot of power, dude.
trusted in
Yeah.
nerd.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all right. I'm totally okay with it. Yeah.
He
That's
was
all
responsible. Also, it's like
Totally okay with it.
What does it matter in this short period of time you go to school? Like, it's such a small period of time in your life.
Yeah.
Like your adult life is really the I know there's certain things that shape you, but it's like just get through school, whatever. I'm gonna tell my sons like just get out, get in, do
get
the
out of
stuff.
here.
Get in to get out.
Yeah, and then
It just depends on what path you'll see it, right? I think we're going to see it. And we're gonna know the path, and like I'll see it. Like if Maisie's I ain't gonna do and puts her welding mask on, then I'll know what track she wants to go down. And if she's more like Andrea, then I'll know.
It's either
There's a lot of people that don't know. You know what I mean?
I now think the
I always
majority
knew.
of people don't know.
I agree with that.
And then
Yeah, I think you guys are right.
there's a stigma that you should know what you want to do for the rest of your life.
There
and
is though, because they try and ask like junior year of high school, they're trying to tell you to figure out what major you want to go to in college. And
I
it's
always hated
you're
that.
16, 17, you don't know what you're doing.
It was too much pressure. I haven't experienced enough to know what I
Exactly.
want to do.
They do that. I do it with my sons. Like, what do you want to be?
Yeah.
I want a ninja or some ridiculous thing. I want to fly. Like, well, you're not going to do that.
That's a fantastic
impossible.
answer, though.
No, but now they're
Maisie
flying a
said
plane, but,
Artist, she
like-
says artist chef.
Oh.
Artist chef.
But it doesn't
Hell, that is.
You're either going to be motivated or it's just going to naturally be the progress. But I think most people are just like, I don't know, and then you're just kind of tossed out in the world. Most just
truthfully-
fall into the job they do, and then they just do it, and they're like, yeah, I guess.
I mean, if we ended this tomorrow, I would look at Andrea and be like, I don't know. I think I would.
yeah.
And I'm old now.
I never in my entire life had like some sort of dream job that I wanted to do, and
I did. This is it.
Yeah.
So-
I still to this day
Weird,
I never had like a
So to this day, I don't want to do this.
no, it's not that I don't want to do it. I just never had like the quintessential dream job,
Right.
and I don't even consider to me it's that probably changes too.
Yeah, I think it does change.
So it's like I imagine that anybody who has a dream job and is doing that after a certain amount of time that maybe you're like, well, maybe this would be a better version of this dream job,
Right,
or
right.
or
I wanna
you just
work
get tired.
less.
Yeah.
no,
I don't know
you're
what.
right.
Yeah, and then it's like just it being a job and you having to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I think ruins it because the fact that you have to do it means that it's not something there are certain exceptions, but anybody that has to do anything, it kind of ruins that thing that you're having to do, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Like no matter if you like it or not, like I think if you have to do it for work, it tarnishes it.
Yeah, it decreases it. The analogy I would use is a silencer on a pistol from the game Cyberpunk 2077.
No.
You put it on there, and it's going to make things more quiet, and it's going to be easier, but you're going to decrease the amount of damage that you can do to people by 30%.
All right.
There you go. And I just sprinkled some nerd on it to make you mad. You got an email for me, Sam?
Sure. Going broke from scratch-offs for Tom.
What?
I heard Tom talking about scratch-offs and gambling addiction on ACT, so I figured I'd tell my story. When I first met my father-in-law 20-plus years ago, he gambled all the time. He was part of a successful family business that lasted over 60 years. He seemed like a total real man, working 14-hour days, making great money, kids in private colleges, all while hitting the casinos and buying daily hauls of scratch-offs. And he won. I would constantly hear about $100, $1,000, $5,000 scratch-offs or lotto tickets. One time he won $100,000.
Oh, my God.
Another time he won a new Corvette convertible. The guy couldn't lose. Except he did. Things started getting weird. Several houses were sold. He got offers he couldn't turn down. Cars got cheaper. He didn't need anything fancy. No one worried because we all knew he had plenty of money. Eventually, my in-laws moved into an old apartment above the family business, and we started to figure it out. They were broke. No savings and six-figure credit card debts. A few years later, the business shut down. They had nowhere to go, so of course they ended up living with me for a while. Today, my father-in-law is in his 70s and still working. He's hanging on at a job that he's probably too old to do that's been decimated by the pandemic. living off that Social Security. Of course, he voted for Trump twice and stereotypically complains about the government and taxes while he makes little money and gets his Medicare and Social Security. Also, he had a fit when his Florida unemployment took forever. But best of all, whenever I get in his car, there are still piles of scratch-offs on the floor, just waiting for one more big hit.
He's an addict.
Oh, man.
You got to get him help.
Wow.
He's ruined his life.
Oh my God!
Yeah, this guy has ruined his life.
That's my favorite email we've ever read. No,
yeah. Guess what? It is. I'm telling everybody, it is impossible, and I'm not just saying this because it's my belief. It's mathematically impossible to win long term with scratch offs,
it's the design.
with slot machines, with basically any Vegas game, unless you're cheating and counting cards and blackjack. But I'm just telling you,
the only factor that's ever on your side is opting in and opting out.
But you can have runs,
right? That's what
this
I'm
guy.
saying.
This guy obviously had a run. He won 100,000.
By design, the math will always take away from you. You'll never win.
And then that run, if he called it quits, he could claim like, "Hey, I won playing scratch offs and stuff." But the problem is, it's not long term. Yeah, so like you at any game of chance, and if it's a coin flip or whatever it is, you could make a lot of money. You could win. There's people that win the Powerball. It's unlikely.
Do you know anybody? For a minute,
Impossible.
I remember. I think maybe I don't know if my mom was. No, but I think we had friends that would absolutely not play the lottery, thought it was dirty. Like, no. Oh, my. Like, that was like a no-no.
Because gambling is
right, like almost
a sin.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I remember growing up and having people, and I remember as a kid.
No, not when I grew up. I grew up around poor people. They all loved lottery and scratch
poor people,
well,
they love it.
I remember my mom and dad acted like they were like, oh my God, this guy's sticking the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember it being like that. And I remember my mom and dad giving me a lottery ticket to scratch. And I remember them explaining to me that you needed to be of 18 years of age, right, to purchase and scratch. And I remember my dad going through some sort of explanation about how if you win, then I'm going to have to fill it out. Like that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember feeling almost like I was breaking the law.
Really?
Like, I remember like feeling like, like it was like pulling the lever on a slot machine on a cruise ship as a kid.
Right.
You know, you
You're not
you
supposed to do
knew you weren't, or maybe that was just my parents had done a nice job of instilling decent values in me, so I knew.
Well, you're law abiding.
You can feel it. It's a feeling.
You're like Tommy. You want to follow the rules.
Yeah, and when you don't, there is you can feel it.
Yeah.
You know, you can. It's almost an anxiety.
Yeah.
Or anxiousness.
Yeah.
Does Tommy get that?
Oh, yeah.
Like if he were to break the rules because there was no other choice, let's just say he's in a horrible position, he would have a problem, right? Like an episode.
Like I said,
I can relate to that, man.
When my neighbor, when they were redoing the house next door and the ball flew over there, and I was like, hey, come on, boys, we're going to walk over there and get the ball in the backyard.
Yeah.
You know, no one lived there at the time. And then Tommy Wood
refused
to cross into the neighbor's backyard because he thought he felt that was wrong. Max was right there. Max was in front of me.
Yeah, it's almost like a higher level of respect, right? Like he just follows what you're
over me, his father, which should be the ultimate ruler in his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the only him and me and my mom or my wife.
Yeah.
God! I do it all the time. I'm okay with it now.
I'm not okay.
No, I just call her mom now. I'm like, hey, mama. Like, I just call her mom. I'm just going to go with it because at the end of the day, I get to slap that ass.
That's worse. That's worse.
It's not worse. Just accept it.
Just
call her mom. Just call her mom and eat the buffalo. What do you
never
do?
know.
Headbutt it.
I don't do that.
Kick the dog.
Like DJ Khaled now. I don't do it. If you do that, you're not a real man.
That's not the best. That's the worst.
Yeah, I'm here, you're here. I'm sorry.
Be the worst.
All right, what do we got?
Voicemail. Yeah. We'll bounce back to voicemails. Let's try. I think that we can.
Tom and Dan and Sam and Trav. Hey guys, it's Kenny, and I was listening to you guys talk about the fake proposals at NBA halftimes and stuff. And having worked for a professional basketball team, obviously I can confirm that that's all fake. But one of the things that wasn't fake, and is probably one of the best things to happen at halftime, we had frisbee dogs at the arena, and frisbee dogs are always a absolute fun time. You get to see them jumping and catching, and they're so happy.
Do people like or hate frisbee dogs? Because I got to tell you. you, I blank and love them. If they were doing like right outside our studio right now, I'd have to stop all the equipment. I'd have to go out there and just watch it go down.
The best thing about Frisbee dogs is when you're watching him and you're seeing the guy, and when he ducks down and he does that move where the dog jumps off his back.
I love that move.
And then
I'm a sucker for it.
And you're like, on the surface, this guy looks like the happiest guy in the world, but his life is sad.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Because
I just want to see.
Guess what? That dog is his wife, his best friend, everything.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And he, he lives in an apartment. Probably don't make too much.
I just don't want to see something bad. Like he does look like he's having the time of a lifetime out there, like with the dog leaping, his best friend leaping off of his back to grab a Frisbee in midair. And then I don't want to see him get into his Corolla later with a bunch of cages and he's just yelling profanity at them and screaming nonsense at them while he pounds a white Monster energy drink.
Because here's a tell, the amount of time it took him to train that dog to do that and the amount of money it yields.
Sacrificed any good relationship he would have had.
Which is our favorite thing, an extreme amount of time that gets you very little. Like it got him to do the halftime show, but they don't pay that much for those things.
No. A lot of times you're doing it for just the glory of doing it,
or to promote your the local no kill shelter near. You know what I'm saying?
And you can hire Flippy and his dog to come to your birthday party.
We've seen internally through the Arena Football League or the MLS.
It's ruined a lot of the Arena Football League, MLS, working for sports franchises, being part of halftime shows, writing commercials has ruined the Super Bowl for me because I know that behind the scenes, something that glorious, that it's just gross and it's terrible and everything is wrong and it's all greed and terrible.
Well, it's just a business. It's all corporation,
Kenny has more. I'm just kind of ignoring him.
Well, one of the dogs after the performance just decided to take a massive dump on the court. Just when they were done catching the Frisbees, they just squatted and laid a big old doo-doo just right on the court. And so the start of the second half was actually delayed while they had to clean it up and bleach it and making sure it dries and everything. So yeah, it was...
Why you gotta bleach it?
You gotta at least sanitize it.
These are pro athletes
that spray some Windex.
Windex.
You just put some what is it, 409 on.
You get a paper towel, you pick it up, 409.
Yeah. You know what I do? I'll full transparency.
Towel, you're done. It should take. Why was that delayed?
No,
I could clean that up in 1 minute. I'm not even joking.
I could use my hoodie. I'll pick it up with an Orlando Magic napkin. I'll put it in one of my empty beer cups. I'll take my hoodie and move the doo-doo, put my hoodie back on because it's just dog crap. It doesn't matter. And get about our day.
But you could clean up dog doo-doo on a hardwood basketball court.
I can do it in
60 seconds.
No, 60. I can do it in 15 seconds flat.
Hold on, no, but sanitizing, I do agree. You have to spray some sort of 409 on it, Lysol or Lysol wipe. Yeah.
I mean, do you? Because somebody's going to put their sneaker that's been all over the globe right on the dog doo-doo, and that's dirtier than the dog doo-doo. The dog doo-doo's cleaner than your shoe.
Yeah. Your shoe's been in the bathroom, stomped around. Yeah.
Your shoe has literally been in the men's locker room with the Orlando Magic where God knows what's happening.
No one's eating off the basketball court. You're right. Yeah.
That's my point. Is like, why do you have to disinfect it? What are they going to get? Frisbee dog-itis?
Yeah, they're all millionaires, so their standards are probably higher than the rest of us, minions. So
is it standards or is it just being reasonable human?
If you're worth $30 million of dog poops, you're just like clean it up with some bleach, but I still can do. You don't have to delay the game.
Yeah,
right.
30 seconds.
Right. Let's do one more and then we'll take a little break.
Voicemail or email?
Voicemail.
Okay,
I got a good one loaded for us here.
Hello, mediocre crew. Just before the holiday break, Daniel was discussing how he'd been playing his new Xbox, but playing the old, Xbox One Madden before realizing he had the upgrade for the new Madden.
Yes.
I've had a couple similar instances in my life. When I got the PlayStation 3, it was cool, and I was like, well, it's kind of weird that the cords are so short, but at least they're detachable to the remotes or the controllers, so I can get a longer cord in the future. And after about 3 or 4 months, I realized, those controllers are remote controllers, and you don't have to be plugged in. That was just to keep it charged. Felt like quite a fool. And then secondly, to add insult to injury, I got a Switch a few years ago, and it must have been 8 months until I realized Switch is touchscreen. So, Daniel, don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Took me like 2 months to know the touchscreen on the Switch too. Yeah, I think it's just natural. My brain is just dying, and it's just I'm not as good with technology as I used to be, and I'm not going to be, and I've accepted that. I'm okay with it. I'm better than the average guy just because it's one of my interests. But I'm dying, Sam.
Right.
And
we talked about that this week.
Yeah.
We're all slowly dying. Our brains are slowly shutting down.
So if you had asked me 10 years ago about this whole, me playing the older version of Madden on the brand new Xbox, it wouldn't have happened. But now here we are.
No, that's why you got to bring it up. I know that it's the truth, and it's all happening to all of us at the same time.
How are you dealing? How are you, sir, dealing with the implementation of the Nintendo Switch into the Van household? Because I know for a very long time, much like me, I said, my kids, I'll run a tight ship. They'll never run over me, yada, yada, yada. I was a fool. I was 100% wrong, got it all wrong. I remember you telling me no video games. This isn't going to happen. We're not going to do the video games.
We wanted to fight it for as long as yeah.
So where are we at now?
It's the worst thing we've ever done.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. For me too. Yeah,
they like it. It's too good.
Yeah, it's amazing. You have one, don't you? A Switch. Yeah, they're amazing.
So when anything is given to you that's too good and more fun than any other option
it's the most fun thing ever.
Then all you want to do is that particular thing. Now I understand.
I have that in my household too.
And Sheryl Crow wrote a song about this.
Yeah, it's like. It's the same thing as why I tell everybody, never try a speedball or any sort of great, the greatest of it. Don't fly first class if you can't always fly first class.
The very first time I flew, they upgraded me to first class, and
ruined it.
I just didn't realize how much of a difference it was until I had to do the transfer, and I'm like, oh.
I did it my first flight back after the horrible flight, remember? When my wife, ruined it for me. Absolutely ruined it.
Yeah, so
that's wise.
They know that it's there and it's an option. That's all they would want to do. If given the option, obviously. And that's why your parents, and that's why we have to do all right, you're an hour a day, that's it, and nothing else.
Now, how is Crystal handling it? Because I know she's very anti-video game.
No, she knows it, but we both talk about it. They're just obsessed with it. I mean, we went on that beach vacation after Christmas. We didn't bring video games. I don't want to bring any screens or video games. I'm like, screw it.
How did they handle it?
They were fine, but I'm not joking. On day number 4, Tommy woke up the day we were leaving, and he's like, I dreamed I was playing Mario Kart while I was in Minecraft. I dreamed.
Wow. Switch Inception.
My dream was I was
so cute
in Minecraft playing Mario Kart.
His mind was so starved for he created the ultimate video game.
They were dreaming about it. Close to addiction.
He needs a hit, man.
It's in the Venn diagram of addiction, and so I'm like, oh God! He, obviously because it's really good, and the games are good.
So what did they do on the drive? If you didn't give them video games.
We do a lot of I Spy with my little eye.
No. The video, it was 3.5 hours. We gave him half the time to be on their Switch.
So there was screen time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was when we got out of the car because the 3-hour drive we were
and the clock starts now.
It's like supermarket sweep.
We'll make them do an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours with no other entertainment. We tell them look out the window.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to have to do road
I know.
trips?
Yeah.
They say
you come up with stuff to play with.
I forget
your siblings. Or
I forget
whatever.
the lady. She might be one of the a very powerful and well-known CEO for a major company. Could even be Disney or some facet of Disney. But she talks about that. She's a doctor too, and she has a whole thing about how we as a global society have tried to eliminate boredom and how boredom is necessary for critical thinking,
for imagination.
It's it's that alone time with your own cognitive reasoning and allowing you to fire certain parts of your brain that you're not going to get if you're just always interacting with a device.
No, for sure it's bad,
weird.
and it's got to be regular, just like anything else. Obviously.
Oh, I'm terrible about it, man.
Hey,
I'm the worst. I think I'm the worst in the studio.
You take a little bit of opiate, and then you never abuse it. Right? You're probably fine forever. But then it's of course, everything is. If you do too much of anything, it's bad for you.
Everything in moderation.
You're really good good about your screens, I think. And I think Sam's really good about his screens.
I'm horrible.
And I don't know about Butler, but I know I'm bad. I know mine, it gives you that timer. Mine just consistently goes up.
Yeah. It's definitely something in the future we'll look back on in society and be like,
that's when the downfall started.
Yeah. We're like, we shouldn't have done this. Or the next, my son's generation are going to be like, man, you just gave everybody all this at once and with nobody had any regulation or any idea that the too much was like cigarettes back in the 20s or something. It's like, hey, smoke crazy. It's fine. So it's good for you. I think that will probably end up playing out where it's like, you have to limit your time because it'll ruin your brain. It's like sugar for your brain or whatever that.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Or maybe it isn't. And maybe we just think, I don't know.
God, I hope they come back later and say cigarettes were good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Bye-bye.